We are live. We are live, hot on a Thursday, We are live, Perfect Time Podcast, live from Iran. Perfect Time Podcast, back with the blast, live from day 5, man. Day five. We fired back up, man. It's going down, man. Global politics, global politics. America, is day 5. U.S. strikes deeper into Iran, 5th straight day of action. We're talking about a war on two fronts. Trump takes on Iran and the deep state. We got Trump doing at 9 o'clock tonight. He's doing a live stream. Trump talking to the country live. A lot of speculation about what he's going to talk about. I got some research that I did on what potentially may be discussed, what people want to hear tonight. And when he has the conversation, we will discuss tomorrow. What's discussed tonight is very important. Everybody tune in tonight. Right now, we're talking about war on two fronts. Trump takes on Iran and the deep state. We in day 5, day 6, but I'm bringing to you day 5 updates of deep bombing in Iran. There's been so much speculation. Finally, after 5 days of bombing, after the ceasefire, Iran broke the ceasefire. Number one, I don't know how much you know about what's going on right now. Iran broke the ceasefire. Iran broke the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. I don't believe we ever truly had a deal with Iran because I don't believe we truly have leadership. That was evidence to some of us after the funeral when they tried to assassinate our president while he was in Ankara, Turkey. How much of this do you know? That Iran tried to assassinate President Trump while at a Turkey NATO summit? After that, Trump started bombing Iran over 5 days ago while in Turkey, while in the Middle East. They did not able to get him to Camp David. He's in Camp David now. He's absolutely saying we've been bombing Iran for 5 days in the interior. Right now, finally, I hear there's been people saying Iran did this, Iran did this. Finally, I hear people saying the U.S. will not run out. The U.S. will not run out of missiles. They're speculating whether or not the U.S. needs missiles against China and Russia. We ain't worried about China and Russia right now. Double tap hit the like button as you come in. What you need to worry about is Iran. 5 days of straight bombing. Now, nothing that you've been seeing jives with what you've been told. This is the thing. You've been told one thing, you're seeing another thing. You're seeing consistent bombing in Iran. You're seeing consistent attacks, but they told you America didn't have this ability. They told you Iran had the ability to protect themselves or stop the bombing. You haven't seen any of those things. You haven't seen Iran with the ability to stop America from taking over the straits. You haven't seen them demonstrate the ability to stop American drones, to stop American bombing. Now, this may give you some type of confusion because everything you hear, if you listen and you only go by what you hear, and not what you see. I've been showing you drones from the Ukraine. They speculate that brand new naval drones come from the Ukraine. Did you know that the Ukraine is the number one in warfare when it comes to drone technology? And the Ukraine just happens to be our ally. What you see happening is we are decimating the coast of Iran. We are decimating any naval ports, any shipping ports, forcing not only the Iranian, whatever remaining navy may be, but Trump said there is no more navy. But we are forcing ships to take our route off the sovereign coast of Oman. Wow. Why can we do that? Because we're bombing everything that Iran has left. 5 days of consistent bombing. Now, you might say to yourself, they told us America ran out of missiles. How is it that America has bombed Iran consistently for 5 days? How is President Trump fighting war on two fronts? Double tap hit the like button as you come in. You're watching the Perfect Timing Podcast, #1 podcast on YouTube for political and geopolitical debate. This is where we debate politics today. We are talking about war on two fronts. We're talking about Iran and the deep state. Double tap hit the like button. We're talking about Iran and the deep state. Trump is handling the deep state tonight at 9 p.m. We're going to be talking about election fraud in Atlanta, Fulton County. What's going on in Fulton County, everybody? 315,000 votes. I brought you a brand new understanding from Fulton County. So people understand truly what's going on. We had Tulsi Gabbard go to Fulton County and then take 700 boxes, and that's when the story got blown out. But what's really going on in Fulton? See, people don't understand. Fulton County is a small part of the state of Georgia, which happens to be a red state that Donald Trump carried. Donald Trump, and this is what you need to understand, just like with Texas and Jasmine Crockett, the state of Georgia is suing and prosecuting Fulton County. This is where the first story came from. The state of Georgia is the one who will subpoena Fannie Willis in Fulton County over the 315,000 votes they didn't know what happened to. Now remember, Fulton County stopped the election, and then we all went to sleep because they had a flooded toilet. Oh my God. So Donald Trump tonight at 9 o'clock is going to be talking about election fraud as it relates to 2020, prosecutions in Fulton County, more fraud in Atlanta when it comes to election, brand new barriers to stop cheating and fraud, not only in 2026, but in 2028. The House and Mike Johnson, majority leader, passes the SAVE Act on the back end of another bill. We're going to get into that if we got time. I said the House and majority leader Mike Johnson passed the SAVE Act on the back end of another bill. We get into that if we got time. But we're starting off with Iran 5 days. We in day 5. After where are we right now? Ayatollah Khomeini. It took 4 months to bury Ayatollah Khomeini. Everybody with us? Allah Akbar. It took 4 months to bury Ayatollah Khomeini. Why did it take 4 months? I don't know. It took 4 months. We invaded on February 28th. We destroyed the whole top brass. A lot of people speculated, was Trump lying? Did we take out Ayatollah Khomeini? And did we take out the supreme leader and the top leadership? Well, at the funeral, what did you see? You saw 7 coffins at the funeral just days ago, right? We've been bombing for 5 days. You saw 7 coffins at the funeral, including a baby, including a child. So you saw 7 coffins at the funeral, right? Double tap at the like button. Double tap at the like button. You saw 7 coffins at the funeral. You saw an emotional Iranian public. After the funeral, Iran broke the ceasefire. Just so everybody knows where we are logistically and as far as the timeline is concerned. Because you may hear liberals talk about Trump striking Iran. That's not actually what happened. What happened is the Iranians took 4 months. Now, the liberals, and if you watch CNN, everybody disbelieved that Trump won, that Trump was telling the truth when he said he destroyed the Navy, destroyed the Air Force, and destroyed the top leadership. Then we go to a funeral where they bury all the top leadership. So that's no longer in speculation. The supreme leader was taken out February 28th and the entire top leadership, and they buried 7 bodies in the funeral, including a child. So let's not speculate on who won the war. America won the war. Now, 4 months after we take out the entire top branch, they have a funeral for the 7 people, right? But this is the thing about the funeral. The brand new supreme leader, the son of the previous supreme leader, is not at the funeral. Now you can speculate all you want, but these are staunch Muslim Islamic. This is a big deal for Muslims and Islamic peoples to not go to the father's funeral. Now, what they say, now keep in mind, CNN has said, and liberals say that Iran is winning, right? Now, keep in mind that. Keep in context that people say Iran is winning, right? Now, Iran says the reason we haven't seen the son and the reason why the son didn't go to the funeral is because America would be able to track him and kill him. So he's not coming outside. Is everybody listening? Iran is saying to the world, they are afraid. This is the way I'm interpreting it. They are afraid to show us their brand new leader because America will kill him. That does not sound like a winner to me. So what happens is they have a funeral. I have said that Iran is not a winner because at the funeral, they had 20 million people watching. They had the entire world watching the funeral of the Iranian supreme leader that Trump took out. This was a perfect time for Iran to present its brand new leader, its brand new mission, and to say to the world, we are strong, we are winners, and we have a bright future, right? But Iran has not come out Listen to what I'm saying. The whole world, and they won't get this chance again. Iran will not get this chance again to speak to the whole world and say, we have a brand new leader, we are strong, and we are winning. Eric Jordan in the building. What's up with your Eric Jordan? First in the chat, get shouted out. First in the chat, get shouted out without a doubt. Double tap, hit the like button. Some idiot just said we need Canada. I got some Canada news up there right now. What do we need Canada for? Please explain in the chat. Some idiot just said we need Canada. We do not need Canada. We got to get this thing straight. These non-nuclear European countries are no longer factors. We are no longer in a romance with Europe and the European outposts like Canada, the UK, the EU, whatever you want to call it, NATO, the UN, USAID can kiss our red, white, and blue. Double tap at the like button. I said the UN, the USAID, all of them could kiss our red, white, and blue. We don't need no Canada. We never needed Canada. We will not ever need Canada. Double tap hit the like button. Double tap hit the like button. We are in the, some clown just said Trump is the deep state. That's why they tried to assassinate him 6 times. This is the idiocracy we got to deal with. Trump is the deep state. That's why they tried to assassinate him 6 times. Please explain in the chat. See, they just come in. Nocturnal, you need to wake up, homie. Nocturnal, you need to wake up, homie. For real, for real. Trump is the deep state. They don't try to assassinate the deep state over and over again. They don't do secret FBI investigations. Hillary Clinton is the deep state. Come on, can somebody help him out? Can somebody help him out? Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Mafia, Joe Biden, these are deep state. You know, Burisma, you know, Hunter Biden spilling cocaine in the White House, Hunter Biden on the board of Burisma, Hillary Clinton in Haiti, Hillary Clinton in Jamaica, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama in secret meetings designing the Russia hoax to steal dossier. Can you tell me what's in the Anthony Weiner laptop? Nocturnal, since you know so much, and you know so much about the deep state, can you tell us on the right, can you tell the conservatives what's in the Anthony Weiner laptop? And if you are full transparency, why don't we know what's in the Anthony Weiner laptop? And why don't we know what was on the Hillary Clinton server? Why has James Comey never answered questions about either one? Why has James Comey never answered questions about Arctic frost? Double tap it to like. See, I'm roasting them today. I'm not letting nobody live today. We at their ass today. We on their Perfect Timing Podcast, man. Perfect Timing Podcast, #1 podcast on YouTube for political debate. Come up right now. Step up in the comments and get roasted. Anybody got a chance? Anybody with a comment? Step up in the comments right now and get roasted. Step up in the comments right now. I'm gonna shout you out and roast you right now. You cannot defend Hillary Clinton. You cannot defend, what's his name? Hunter Biden. You cannot answer to the Anthony Weiner laptop. You cannot answer to the Hillary Clinton server. And you cannot answer to Donna Brazile helping Hillary Clinton cheat. These are examples of the deep state. It's not just someone saying deep state, deep state. I'm giving you examples of how Democrats cheat. Use propaganda, use the media, and lie. Donna Brazile was the head of the DNC and also worked for CNN. She gave Hillary Clinton questions. They did the same thing for Kamala Harris. Hillary Clinton still lost. So tell me, deep state dickhead, who made Kamala Harris the nominee? Who made Kamala Harris the nominee and why didn't she get 1 vote? Can we talk about the deep state? Because to this day, no one knows how and where the bitch came from. Where did the bitch come from and who made her the nominee? Because she couldn't get 1 vote and everybody knew it. She had never gotten a vote. That is the deep state. When somebody comes along and makes a decision for your party, when you don't go to convention. Kamala Harris in the book 107 Days said, I called Gavin Newsom. I called Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi told Kamala Harris, we should not have a coordination. Is this motherfucking microphone on? Double tap hit the like button. They don't want to talk about deep state. Why the fuck did you bring up deep state? I will lose my motherfucking mind on deep state. Nancy Pelosi told Kamala Harris we should not have a coordination. See, Eric Jordan, brother, they don't know. They don't know about the convention. They don't know. See, they just say this shit because they heard it on CNN, but they don't know the purpose. They don't know the DNC platform. They don't know the purpose of the convention. They don't know how Kamala Harris was chosen by the deep state, despite you never picked her. That's deep state. Woo! Whoa, that MAGA. Whoa, that MAGA. Whoa, that MAGA. Whoa, that MAGA. Y'all don't want to get me started. Y'all don't want, I'm talking about it today. Donald Trump and the Republicans, we going in on the deep state. Don't you even dare talk about the deep state. That's the war. It's a war on two fronts. And every day I come here and battle. You see how quiet they get? Every day I come here and battle and remind you. And then people start scratching their head because there's a lot of elderly, intelligent people who watch me. And you got to scratch your head and you got to say, well, you know what, young man? I may not like your loud voice. I may not like your profanity. But you have a point when you bring up Hillary Clinton. And you bring up the Hillary Clinton server. You have a point, young man, when you bring up the Steele dossier. I'm afraid a lot of your audience may not recall or remember the Steele dossier or the Hillary Clinton server and the mistake James Comey made. Yeah, a lot of older, intelligent people may be watching me and say, young man, when you refer to the deep state, you're probably correct when you bring up Anthony Weiner and the Anthony Weiner laptop and the 6 police officers who were unalived who saw the contents of the laptop. But we never get to talk about Pizzagate. We never get to talk about Anthony Weiner and the laptop. We never get to talk about Hillary Clinton and the server. We never get to talk about James Comey. We never get to talk about Arctic Frost. We never get to talk about tapping the phone, secretly tapping the phone of the president and the vice president via a FISA court. Because Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama said that Trump was in the bed with Putin. So the FBI illegally, secretly tapped the phone of our president. Do they even know what the deep state is? Chat, do they even know what the deep state is? I don't think they know or they care. I don't think they know or they care about Arctic Frost, where the FBI, under the guidance of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, secretly tapped the phones of Donald Trump and his vice president. And then they secretly investigated him for 10 years. Illegally. I should know. Arctic Frost was an illegal investigation. The FISA court is a secret court where they got a secret subpoena because Hillary and Barack Obama lied. Hillary and Barack Obama lied, and they got a lie, and they lied to a judge in a FISA court to get a subpoena to listen to Donald Trump's, but there was no crime. Do you guys know if Donald Trump had did something wrong, we would know because they illegally and secretly were tapping his phone for years. Do you guys understand? That is the deep state. I know a lot of people did not graduate with a diploma. That is the deep state. When we talk about a secret investigation into the president behind his back while president, by his FBI, that's why we have Kash Patel. His FBI, that's why Comey is under investigation, because there was a secret investigation while he was president. And he did not know about this FISA court subpoena. He did not know about the phone tap. The president of the United States should not have his phone tapped if he's the one with the nuclear codes. Think about this. The president of the United States had his phone tapped. Well, who was listening? And where are those recordings? That should never have happened. And then we don't know anything about it. Now, this is why conservative media outlets like myself were excited when James Comey got indicted. I sing a song. I'm so excited. Comey's indicted. And I'm just so happy I can't even hide it, because it is the deep state. That is the deep state. And we want to know from James Comey, why did you lie about the Hillary Clinton server? What was on the Anthony Weiner laptop? Why did you lie about the Steele dossier? What did Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton tell you? Why did you lie on documents to the FISA court to obtain subpoenas to tap Donald Trump's phone? See, while you're giggling, because somebody said because Trump works for Russia. Exactly. See, this is why James Comey should be in prison. This is why Hillary Clinton should be prosecuted. That's why it was so important that we had Hillary Clinton testify, because the propaganda is so strong. Hillary Clinton needs to be prosecuted. James Comey needs to be prosecuted. And the American people need to watch the prosecution publicly so the American people who were lied to can understand about the Russia hoax, the Steele dossier in the Hillary Clinton server, and how James Comey, how Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the actual deep state worked against a sitting president illegally. You should be upset about that. Nothing about a Russia collusion was ever proven. In fact, the contrary. If you go to Snopes right now, if you go to Snopes, or if you go to any debunk site, you can go to .com and you can go to check whether this comment is factual. Y'all want to debunk it right now? Let's debunk it right now. Let's debunk it right now. What's the debunk site? Debunk site. What's the debunk? Let's Snopes right now. Let's go to Snopes right now, and the comment was Donald Trump works for Russia. That's the comment. That's the comment right there. Russia paid Trump millions of dollars. Snopes, October 31st, 2016. Let's go to it. Let's go to it right now. Mostly false. Mostly false. Mostly false. Can we see it right now, everybody? This is it, right? This going back to 2016. This is the propaganda. This is why tonight's speech by Donald Trump at 9 p.m. is so important. Russia paid Donald Trump millions of dollars. Mostly false. This is why it's so important. What's Donald Trump talking about tonight? All of this that was set in place by the deep state. Did ex-KGB spy Russia cultivate Trump as an asset for 40 years? The idea, mostly false, mostly false. So this is what we're talking about tonight, that these lies that were spread about Donald Trump are going to be debunked tonight. These lies that were spread about Donald Trump and the deep state, by the deep state, are going to be debunked tonight. And that's why you got to tune in at 9 o'clock. Also, we talking about day 5 in Iran, day 5 in Iran, day 5 in Iran, day 5 of attacks after Iran breaks the ceasefire, after Iran breaks the MOU. After Iran breaks the ceasefire, after Iran breaks the MOU. Let's go to the news report right now. Day 5 of bombing in Iran. Double tap at the like button as you come in, and let's debate in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button and vote.
Military sites Wednesday. Wow, 5 straight days. Mike Tobin joins us live from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hey, Mike.
You hear what he said? He said 5 straight days of bombing. Ever since the funeral, Iran broke the MOU, broke the ceasefire. Iran attacked 3 commercial ships. That wasn't. They didn't even attack like naval ships. They attacked non-combatant. I believe it was piracy. I don't believe there is an Iranian army anymore. I believe what's left are renegade soldiers who are committing piracy on the open waters because they haven't been paid in months. Double tap at the like button. 5 days of straight bombing in Iran.
Military sites Wednesday. Wow, 5 straight days. Mike Tobin joins us live from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hey, Mike.
Morning, Brian. Morning, gang. A lot of developments out of Iran. Let me start out with the U.S. on the offensive, firing deeper into Iran than it has in the past. Some of this information now is coming from Iranian state media, not confirmed by the U.S., but air defense is triggered very close to Tehran, showing U.S. forces striking further north than they have in this round of fighting. Also, barracks for Iran's 388th Mechanized Infantry Brigade were hit. The town of Ranshar to the southeast, that brigade operates tanks and armored vehicles. Also, as part of the blockade, the U.S. has now fired on a commercial ship. It's a tanker flagged out of Curacao named Belma. U.S. Central Command says the tanker was headed toward Karg Island, Iran's primary oil export hub. The ship ignored multiple warnings. U.S. aircraft fired Hellfire missiles into the smokestack and disabled it. This after 2 commercial tankers were turned around the previous day. The propaganda ramps up on the streets of Tehran. One example of the propaganda, there's a mural of the late Senator Lindsey Graham with devil horns painted on his head. And there's another giant mural of President Trump in a coffin. President Trump was asked yesterday what he thought about these threats toward him. He says he doesn't spend much time thinking about them. Still, Iran has extended an olive branch. An American with dual citizenship in Iran, jailed while visiting family in 2024 and charged with espionage, has now been released. A lawyer for Dina Karari posted, this would not have happened but for the extraordinary and relentless efforts of President Trump. Dina is now safe and traveling back to the United States. The president posted that the U.S. appreciates the goodwill gesture from Iran. Guys, back to you.
That is unbelievable. Mike, thank you
Thanks,
for showing us those images. That's what's happening in Iran right now.
I mean, it's the same thing what they were doing the other day when they asked to bury the supreme leader and they were calling for the assassination of the president and death to Netanyahu, death to America and Israel. They continue to say that they want peace and that they want to open up the strait. And, you know, they're not bad actors, but when you see them, in real time, that doesn't look like a peaceful regime.
I brought this up, but America was distracted. This is why Trump is saying what he's going to say tonight. I believe there's too much distraction in America. Nobody paid attention to the funeral. No one paid attention to the funeral. We had believed we would get a peace agreement. We had an MOU. We had a ceasefire. A MOU is a memorandum of understanding. They need the straits open because they are starving. I said to you, they can't get bread. They get their wheat from Russia. The supply chains are shut down. They have halal food. They have halal bakeries. What is halal? Halal is part of the Islamic Muslim religion and tradition and what they eat. They get the wheat from Russia and they have meals in Iran where they mill the wheat into flour, but halal flour to make halal bread. They can't do that anymore. I wish people would understand what's going on. Trump is not lying when he says there is no more leadership in Iran. They are not focused. They do not have leadership. I believe the army is disbanded. I believe it's all pirates. We are in day 5. We are in day 5 of bombing in Iran. How many people knew? Iran broke the MOU. Iran broke the MOU. Iran broke the ceasefire. They broke the MOU and the ceasefire.
Mike joins us live from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hey, Mike.
They broke the MOU and the ceasefire after the funeral.
Morning, Brian. Morning, gang. A lot of developments out of Iran. Let me start out with the U.S. on the offensive, firing deeper into Iran than it has in the past. Some of this information now is coming from Iranian state media, not confirmed by the U.S., but air defense is triggered very close to Tehran, showing U.S. forces striking for the north than they have in this round of fighting. Also, barracks.
Are you guys looking at these images? These images go by so fast, and then people want to ignore these realities. Let's look at these images. Let's see if we can look at them in slow motion. Let's look at them in slow motion. Let's see what America is actually doing. No one wants to be honest. Everybody wants to say Iran is winning and Iran is doing this. I don't see images like this coming out of CNN, coming out of Iran, where America is taking casualties, where American sites, people keep talking about American bases being hit. This is Iran. Did you see that undercover? 5 days. As we watch this in slow motion, I'm giving you context. It's been 5 days like this. There's no retaliation from Iran. There's no videos like this coming out from Iran. These are missile launchers. Do you see those missile launchers? Now you don't. Now you see me. Now you don't. Donald Trump in America first. Now you see me, now you don't. It was the same thing with the naval drone where they blew up the Navy base. Here it is again, hiding under the brush. Do you see the missile launcher on the back of that ship? And they launching drones. That's a drone launcher and a missile launcher. Now you see me, now you don't. 5 days. 5 days. 5 days. Here it is, telecom. Here it is, telecom. What are we looking at here, ladies and gentlemen? Communication satellites. This is telecommunications right here being taken out. 5 days. But I want you guys to see one thing. You see the bomb, right? You see the bombs, right? I want you to see there is nobody here. There is nobody here to protect this important site. If there was any military left, if there was any leadership, there would be people here protecting the cell phone towers. There's nobody there, bro. There's nobody there. There is a lot to unpack. It's not just the fact that we're destroying the telecommunications, right? It's not just the fact that we're destroying cell phone towers, but if you in war and you need your telecommunications, not only to communicate, but for internet, bro. Everything is the internet online. We in the motherfucking future right now. So you have to protect certain things. So you're telling me Iran is winning, Iran is in the position to strike back, and they can't even protect their own telecommunications? That doesn't make sense to me. Not in 2026. Not in 2026. You protect the telecommunications. You need access to the internet. You cannot exist. You cannot do drones. You cannot do any military high technical functionality without telecommunications. So it's not just the fact that we're blowing up these sites, and we've been doing it for 5 days without retaliation and with impunity. No one's stopping us. There's nobody fighting back. But it's beyond the fact that no one's stopping us with impunity. I want to point out to you, there's nobody there. There's nobody there to stop us. There is no more IRGC. Find me a photograph. Find me a photograph of one battalion. Not, you don't even have to find me a bunch of them, because they talk about it. Just find me one photograph of one battalion who looks healthy, who's been feeding their soldiers, who have guns, who have ammunition, who are fight ready and worthy. You cannot do it, bro. They've been without food for 4 months. The straits have been closed for months. They can't get in food. They can't get in ballistics. They can't get in saline. Look at what we're looking at right now. This is slow motion of the Persian Gulf Wednesday. Over the last 5 days, America has been bombing Iran with impunity. It's not just the fact that we started back up the bombing. It's the fact that we started back up the bombing with impunity, without any retaliation, and that there is nothing there. What you need to look at from now on, after this podcast, the next time you see footage of America bombing Iran, from this perspective, look and see, where are the people? Where are the soldiers? Where are the tanks? Where are the trucks? Where are the bikes? Where are the ships? Where are the submarines? You won't see them. You won't see them. And it's not just me and my loud voice. I'm just giving you the perspective. You won't see them. Let's go back full speed. Let's go back full speed. Just giving you 5 days.
With devil horns painted on it.
5 days. 5 days of consistent bombing of America bombing Iran, Karg Island, the coast, taking out all of their ports with impunity. Not one retaliatory strike from Iran. You show me in the chat. Double tap at the like button.
Head, and there's another giant mural of President Trump in a coffin. President Trump was asked yesterday what he thought about these threats toward him. He says he doesn't spend much time thinking about them. Still, Iran has extended an olive branch. An American with dual citizenship in Iran, jailed while visiting family in 2024 and charged with espionage, has now been released. A lawyer for Dina Karari posted, this would not have happened but for the extraordinary and relentless efforts of President Trump. Dina is now safe and traveling back to the United States. The president posted that the U.S. appreciates the goodwill gesture from Iran. Guys, back to you.
That is unbelievable. Mike, thank you
Thanks,
for showing us those images. That's what's happening in Iran right now.
I mean, it's the same thing what they were doing the other day when they asked to bury the supreme leader, and they were calling for the assassination of the president and death to Netanyahu, death to America and Israel. They continue to say that they want peace and that they want to open up the strait. And, you know, they're not bad actors, but when you see them in real time, that doesn't look like a peaceful regime.
No.
So they've expanded their list of strikes. They're going.
I like to expose this ignorance, because this is one of the questions that people want to run away from. I come from a telemedicine project manager analytical background. I do Bigfoots, I do schemes, I plan things out for long period. I'm a project manager. I'll use project manager on Microsoft. Do you know PMO, all of that? So tell me logistically right now, how long would it take? Do you know how many aircraft carriers? Do you know how many soldiers, how many Marines, how many planes, how many helicopters do we have in the region? I'll tell you, we haven't had this much metal in the region for over 20 years. So logistics, from a logistical analytical project manager, Tell me how long you think it would take, because it matters. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to Americans. What I said is we keep the straits closed, and America's going to stay there indefinitely. I see America staying there for the next 10 to 20 years because J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio will be in the White House for another 8 years. America is not leaving for another 10 years. But be that as it may, let's just talk Turkey. With the over 3 aircraft carriers, George Bush just got there. How long would it take logistically to get America out of the region? See, this is the question I've been saying for months. You bring up a very ignorant perspective that what you actually did is expose your ignorance and expose the vulnerability of Iran. See, Iran cannot survive with the Straits of Hormuz closed for an extended period of time. And Americans have been lied to. Do you know what the truth is here in America? I say, this is what I said. We keep the Straits of Hormuz closed, correct? And Americans go celebrate Halloween. Americans go trick-or-treat and eat candy because that's what we do in America. Fuck Iran. I say we keep the Straits of Hormuz closed and Americans go eat turkey. Go get fat, put on 15 pounds, eat way too much food in the holiday season. Iran don't have halal bread right now. Iran has bread lines. Iran is starving. So I say Americans go eat your turkey. And then I say Americans in December go celebrate Christmas and buy your children way too many toys. Iranian children will be starving. Iranian children won't have a Christmas. These are realities. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you think I'm mean, but these realities need to come home to the idiots who think like this. What's this person's name? Eric Jordan. What's this person's name? These realities need to come home to these idiots. There's a blockade in Cuba. There is no hospitals. Infant mortality rates are skyrocketing in Cuba. Pregnant women are unalive. The numbers are going up in Cuba. Why? Because they can't protect mothers. The same thing is going to happen and happening in Iran. But there are so many people who think they know what they're talking about without reading. Americans stop reading. The reason I know these facts is because I read. Not just because I'm talking, but I've read. I've done the research. I actually know that when Scott, our Treasury of Secretary, says Iranian soldiers haven't been paid, I did the research. Iranian soldiers have not been paid. Do you guys understand? I told my wife about George Washington. How many people know about George Washington in the history of America? It was just 250 years. And George Washington not being paid. And George Washington and the soldiers almost rebelling because they weren't paid. Does anybody know history and what happens when soldiers don't get paid? This is not small beans. The social contract in Iran has broken down. So the question was, how long will we be there? Logistically, how long will we be there? So somebody says, so starving people until we get our way is okay. This is war. But this is the thing, you guys. They would not have to starve if idiot liberal empathizers would not lie. There would be no starving in Cuba. There would be no starving in Iran if you took your communist anti-American views back across the water. If you took your anti-American views out of Iran. If you did not have a funeral 5 days ago and say, death to America, death to Trump. So I'm sorry, I'm not empathetic to a people who just chanted death to America, death to president, right? I'm not empathetic to them starving. I don't know why you are, but I'm not empathetic to them. I think it is, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I think, what do they call it when they give you an injection instead of shooting you in your head? What do they call it when they give you an injection instead of shooting? I think it's kind. I think it's kinder than us dropping a nuclear bomb, because in this debate, people forget that we are a nuclear power and we could easily just nuke Iran and shut them the fuck up. Why don't we have a real talk this morning? We could easily just nuke Iran. If you haven't noticed, we are doing what we want to do in the world. In China, in Russia, in Europe, in South America, Donald Trump is doing what he wants to do in the globe. so we can actually nuke Iran. There were speculations last week that we dropped a nuclear bomb. Who saw the mushroom cloud? Who saw the mushroom cloud? I said 5 days of bombing, and just 2 days ago, liberals said and speculated that one of the bombs we dropped this week was a nuclear bomb. Who saw the mushroom cloud? Huh? Who saw the mushroom cloud? Because somebody, no, you can't do that. Well, guess what? They said we already did. They said we already did. We already did. So who saw the mushroom cloud? It's been 5 days of bomb. Let's stop pussyfooting with Iran. I'm tired of the pussy with Iran. Iran ain't gonna do shit. And if Iran keep up, we gonna drop a nuclear bomb on their bitch ass. I don't understand this bullshit that people are talking about. I don't. But what I will tell you is this, and you notice he never answered. You notice he never answered how long we will be there. He never answered how long we will be there. He never answered how long we will be there. Okay, and this last question from the chat, we're gonna go back to the video. Who is the nominee? Who is the nominee? See you later? Tell me, when you say blue wave coming, Marco Rubio and JD Vance will go on the victory lap. The victory in Venezuela, the victory in Iran. Venezuela has the largest oil deposits in the globe, the largest gold deposits. We now are controlling Venezuela. We have billions of dollars in the Qatari offshore account from Venezuelan crude. Marco Rubio is rumored to be running Venezuela from the White House. We have Venezuela as a victory. We have Cuba as a victory. We now have the Straits of Hormuz as a victory. Donald Trump, when he shut down the Straits of Hormuz, he made the world buy oil from America. In case you forgot, the petrodollar is resurging. America's GDP is doing better. America is the #1 exporter of oil and energy in the globe. Marco Rubio and JD Vance will go on a victory lap starting 2027, and they will cruise into the White House in 2028. All I'm asking you, and I'm being very kind, who is the candidate that you think can hold up and debate Marco Rubio, who's been in the Senate, and JD Vance, who's a very intelligent young man? And don't tell me about nobody who's 75 years old. The American people are tired of elderly presidents. You know what the greatest thing about JD Vance is? Like Barack Obama, he's in his 40s. He's not 70, about to be 80. So who will you run against JD Vance? When the American people are tired of JD Vance come from a mixed family. His children are mixed race. I live in Northern California. My children are mixed race. A lot of the couples that I see when I go to the Albertsons are couples of mixed race. How do you defeat JD Vance? How do you defeat JD Vance, who said Trump was a bad guy before he even ran, who has some different views? How do you beat JD Vance and Marco Rubio? And I'm waiting for you to tell me, who is the candidate? Is it Kamala Harris? Is it Gavin Newsom? Who is your candidate in 20? And just so you know, so I'm not being mean, you should already have that name. Do you understand? We have JD Vance and Marco Rubio. If you wanted someone to even give them a competition, you would need them to be in the public's eye now, and the public getting to know them, because it's already 2026. You only have 2 years left. You cannot do like you did with Kamala Harris. The book's called 107 Days. The book is called 107 Days. It wasn't enough time for Kamala. So can you tell me, who is your candidate? If a blue wave is coming, who is it going to be? See, that's so important, right? And that's what's wrong with the Democrats and the liberals. That's where you lose, because you don't know how to do politics. And it's not me being mean. It's not being mean. Dude, what have you been smoking? Humpty, Rumpty, sat on the wall. Oh, had a great, what is that? What is that? Who is the candidate? Who is the candidate? See, this is what Kamala did. Kamala hired Beyonce. Kamala spent $2 billion on rappers. Kamala, you can make a joke about me, but the Democrats had Little John smoking at the DNC. That's what happened. Kamala had black women shaking their fat black asses Meg Thee Stallion got on a Democratic stage with Kamala Harris and was shaking her black ass. If you want to know about Humpty Rumpty, you're talking about Meg Thee Stallion. You're talking about the Democrats' booty to the pole. And you haven't said who is the Democrats' candidate for 2028. Who is the candidate? Thank you for that correction. She didn't spend, she went into debt, bringing celebs in and still owes them and still lost. Thank you for that correction. Bill, thank you for that correction. She spent billions of dollars bringing in celebrities and she still owes money. But hey, Bill, did you know she just bought an $8 million mansion in Malibu? Did you know Kamala Harris just bought an $8 million mansion in Malibu? How many people know? She just did it. I don't know. You might not have seen it. You might not have saw it. Kamala Harris, $8 million home, Malibu home. How many people saw it? Brand new. This is breaking news this week. This is breaking news. This is breaking news this week. Billions of dollars wasted. Billions of dollars wasted, and she buys a $8 million home. Billions of dollars, and she lost. Not only did she bet on Beyonce and Glorilla. She bet on Beyonce and Glorilla, and she lost. Don't this kind of remind you of Black Lives Matter?
Kamala Harris has bought a new massive mansion, and we have all the details right here. So she and her husband Doug, they recently dropped over $8 million on a 4,000 square foot mansion in Point Dume, a neighborhood in Malibu, California, that's home to Hollywood celebrities like Sean Penn, Gerard Butler, Julia Roberts, and blah, blah, blah. The home features an indoor-outdoor living, spa bathroom, soaking tub. In recent weeks, Point Dume residents have spotted Doug Imhoff strolling through the neighborhood, which rests on a 63-acre promontory perched above one of California's most famous and exclusive beaches, known as Little Dume. Now, access to Little Dume requires a special key that only a select group of Point Dume residents can possess. Now, I'm not hating on her for having a nice house, right? She married rich. But I do think it's a little bizarre when her campaign lost about $2 billion in 107 days, and then she's going and buying, what, an $8 million house in Malibu? It's weird, right? It's weird to me that Kamala Harris's campaign, where did all of that money go? Right? Was that money being moved into her coffers? Was it going into LLCs that were somehow routed back to her? Like we've seen with the Somalian fraud situation, all Democrats know is fraud and scamming, right? They don't want to work. They just want to fraud taxpayers and they want to fraud donors. And then who was her VP? Tim Walz. Tim Walz is her VP, who's like the leader of fraud. I mean, if there's no one better on earth at fraud than Tim Walz. So he's her VP. She's suddenly buying $8 million mansions in Malibu. Could it be from the book deal? Could it be from the husband? Sure. But Kamala Harris, this isn't speaking to working class Americans. And her whole brand is like, I'm the everyday all-American girl. I'm just like you. I'm not part of the elites. And then she moves into like this gated fancy community in Malibu where you need a key. So I just have a lot of questions about where the money went. And another thing I put in my notes, liberals get to fail upwards all the time. Kamala Harris, when it comes to her, when it comes to Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, these Democrats, they can lose elections.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Democrats and liberals get to fail upward. Black Lives Matter, destroy America, destroy police departments. I mean, literally burn down cities. We seen Chaz in Seattle. I mean, Black Lives Matter literally ravishes the Americas, right? And then the fat black bitches from Black Lives Matter buy a $5 million house. After all that bullshit about black lives, the bitch goes and buys a $5 million house. And just like every one of these fat black bitches, they all married to white men. But I thought white men were evil. But you say Black Lives Matter, white man evil as you ride white penis. Please make it make sense. White man evil, but they all love white penis. How can both these things make these things congruent for me. You please, AOC. AOC loves talking about white people. She rides white penis. Ilhan Omar loves saying the white people is evil. She rides white penis. Kamala Harris rides white penis. Liberals are allowed to fail upward. Oh my God, that was powerful. Liberals are allowed to fail upward.
They can fail miserably, lose the popular vote every single swing state, and they continue to get millions of dollars, massive book deals. They get to go on TV, they get praised. Republicans don't get that, but for some reason, Democrats get to continue failing upward, and that's what we're seeing with Kamala Harris. She has no achievements. She was put in charge of the border. That was a disaster. She was supposed to secure the country. She was supposed to do a lot of things, right? Kamala Harris accomplished absolutely nothing as VP, and then she ran her campaign into the ground and lost $2 billion. And so for this woman to still be out there and praised by the left as this feminist icon, it's laughable. Kamala Harris has bought a new massive mansion, and we have all the details right here. So she and her husband, Doug, they recently dropped over $8 million on a 4,000 square foot mansion in Point Dume, a neighborhood in Malibu, California, that's home to Hollywood celebrities like Sean Penn, Gerard.
So that's what they are. And then they want to go to these parties. They want to go to these Hollywood parties. So it's not just the fact. Barack Obama did the same thing. Barack Obama bought a house and he got a podcast with Steven, what was his name? Born in the USA. I was Bruce Springsteen. That's his best friend. Bruce Springsteen is his best friend. Barack Obama got a damn podcast, hanging out with Bruce Springsteen, going on the tour. They all celebrities. They're all actors. It's all political theater. I thought I told you. It's all political theater. I thought I told you.
Drones and warships.
This my brother Jesse.
Iranian launch sites, mosquito fleets, and defense systems near the Strait.
This my brother Jesse, brother from another mother. This my brother Jesse, brother from another mother, talking about day five of us pounding Iran with impunity. Nobody's striking back. Nobody's stopping America. We have blocked the straits, but specifically, we're only blocking non-American ships. So if you are friends with Iran, you getting blocked. But if you friends with America and you paying the 20%, like it was in the chat, we have a brand new shipping route off the sovereign coast of Oman. The shipping route existed already. We have reignited that shipping route. America has control of the Straits of Hormuz. 5 days of consistent bombings. I showed you brand new naval drones that we got from the Ukraine. But this is the thing about today's news. It's 5 days of bombing with impunity. Now, the rumors were we didn't have enough missiles. 5 days. We got enough missiles. The rumors were Iran had a viable military. What I want you to look at when we watch every one of these sites that are hit, there is no military. It's not just the fact that we're bombing the naval ports, that we're bombing the telecommunications, that we're bombing whatever bases they have left. It's the fact that when you see the actual site be ignited, there's nobody there protecting the satellites. There's nobody there protecting the telecoms. There's nobody there protecting the naval base. There's nobody there protecting the submarine. These are surprise attacks. I know a lot of you grew up on video games. You don't understand what I'm talking about. But you might say to yourself, well, they were hiding. They don't know the bombs are coming. They did not know the bomb. These are surprise attacks. You don't know the bombs are coming. You don't have time to move submarines. You don't have time to move aircraft carriers. If you have them, you have them. They get hit, they get blown up. That's how this game works. These are missiles. You don't have time to move. So I just want to highlight that to you guys, that you don't see anything being blown up because there's nothing left. There's nothing left. 5 days of explosions in Iran. Iran breaks the MOU. Iran breaks the ceasefire. And Donald Trump is blowing up everything. Double tap at the like button.
Iran the big squeeze. For the first time in the war, we're launching airstrikes while the blockade's in full effect. Plus, sanctions are slapped back. Last night, 47 gave the gay Ayatollah 7 straight hours of bitch slaps. U.S. precision missiles fired from fighter jets, drones, and warships hit dozens of Iranian launch sites, mosquito fleets, and defense systems near the Strait. And this morning, Iran woke up to more bombs, over an hour of pounding, hitting cruise missile storage and missile sites near an island base. We're not stopping. Our forces are bombing Iran for the second time today. While the blockade stops anyone without a permission slip, a Curacao flag tanker headed for Karg Island. That's the first ship disabled since we started back up. We shot a Hellfire missile straight through her smokestack. We're also striking deep inside Iran. We hit a railway bridge that's crucial for Iran's trade with Russia and China. So now the land blockade's up right alongside the wall of steel. This was a warning of a bridge before bridge and power plant day. Now the mullahs are picking up the phone.
Came to the conclusion that you couldn't negotiate with the IRGC. Does that mean that you might wipe them out like you did ISIS?
Yeah, it does. We will see what's happening. We received a call just as I was coming here that they want to meet. They always want to meet. But, this should have been done by other presidents for many years, for 47 years, but really a lot longer than that. And it wasn't. And I never understood why, but now I do. Because if you're not going to do it the way I'm doing it, you're never going to make a deal with them.
They're scraping for leverage. Terror is the only card they have left. So they're flinging drones at their Gulf neighbors. And now the mullahs are after our boys. Iranian politicians want the IRGC to invade one of our bases and kidnap 100 soldiers, hold them hostage in Tehran. Good luck with that.
We had 111 missiles shot a few weeks ago by our lovely friends from Iran. They were aimed at the Abraham Lincoln. Out of the 111 missiles shot, 111 missiles were knocked into the sea. And I called the captain of the ship. He wasn't even sweating. 111 missiles are coming at you. And he's drinking his coffee, taking it easy.
The mullahs can lob as many ballistics as they want. We'll shoot them down. There's nothing they can do to us. That's why we own the Strait.
It's open if people want to go through it. We're not opening it for Iran. That's the only one it's closed for. It's closed for Iran, both in and out, but it's open now. A lot of things have happened, Trey, in the last few months. Pipelines are being built. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas, including Alaska.
Nothing leaves unless we say so. And their neighbors are building pipelines around Hormuz. They'll have oil flowing without Iran getting their slimy hands on it. And with the land and sea blockade, they can't get their oil out. So what are they going to sell instead? Pistachios. Now, the commander-in-chief was in the Situation Room. He's being presented with more options. Sources say Karg Island's in play. So's Pickaxe Mountain.
I say we take them all. I say we take them all. They said Karg Island's in play, and so is Pickaxe. Day five of strikes in Iran. Day 5.
Fox News alert, Trump's giving Iran the big squeeze. For the first time in the war, we're launching airstrikes while the blockade's in full effect. Plus, sanctions are slapped back. Last night, 47 gave the gay Ayatollah 7 straight hours of bitch slaps. U.S. precision missiles fired from fighter jets, drones, and warships hit dozens of Iranian launch sites, mosquito fleets, and defense systems near the Strait.
This is what I was saying earlier. Let's take a look at this in slow motion. Let's take a look at this in slow motion. Shout out to my brother Jesse. Now, if we look at this in slow motion, at any of these sites that are being struck, you don't see anybody protecting the sites, right? It's I wouldn't argue with anybody who said these are propaganda. But the sad truth is, Iran is done. Iran is done. That's what you're seeing here. It's not just the fact that we've been bombing consistently for the last several days. It's the fact that nothing is there. No one is protecting these secure sites. These are important military sites, right? They need these sites to actually wage a war against America, one of the largest armies in the global nuclear power. They need these sites. They're being destroyed, but this is not what I want to bring out to you today. What I want to bring out to everybody this morning is that, like Jesse said, we are doing these strikes while we have the Straits of Hormuz blocked, but there is nobody retaliating. We have impunity. We have control of the straits. Look again. Did you see those planes be blown up? This is what I'm saying. There's nobody there to protect anything. Take a look. Take a look. Where are the soldiers? Who is protecting Iran? This is to this morning. I don't want to do a victory lap. I want to give you education. I want to give you a different perspective. You're going to watch a lot of this throughout the week. You're going to hear a lot of other news reports. I want you to look for forces on the ground. That's what I want you to look for. Look for forces on the ground and tell me what has happened to Iran. Where's the Iranian forces? This is what I've been saying the entire time. Look at this. We're blowing up sensitive targets, sensitive sites, but they're not protected. Did you see the missile come in? Let's look at that in slow motion. Let's look at, earlier I said, these are surprise attacks. They don't know the missile is coming. They don't know the missile is coming. So that means there should be somebody there. Somebody should be protecting these sensitive targets. Look at this. Did you see the missile come in? There's nobody there. There is nobody in the bunker. Iran is done. Iran is done. 5 days. We're in day 5 ever since the burial of the Ayatollah Khomeini. When the Iranians broke the MOU, America has been pounding Iran, pounding the coast, pounding bases. Now, no one can dispute that. What I'm bringing up is the fact that every target we bomb, nobody's home. Hello, Ayatollah, Allah Akbar. Nobody's home.
The bridge before Bridge and Power Plant Day. Now the mullahs are picking up the phone.
Came to the conclusion that you couldn't negotiate with the IRGC. Does that mean that you might wipe them out like you did ISIS?
Yeah, it does. We will see what's happening. We received a call just as I was coming here that they want to meet. They always want to meet. But, this should have been done by other presidents for many years, for 47 years, but really a lot longer than that. And it wasn't. And I never understood why, but now I do. Because if you're not going to do it the way I'm doing it, you're never going to make a deal with them.
They're scraping for leverage. Terror is the only card they have left. So they're flinging drones at their Gulf neighbors. And now the mullahs are after our boys. Iranian politicians want the IRGC to invade one of our bases and kidnap 100 soldiers, hold them hostage in Tehran. Good luck with that.
We had 111 missiles shot a few weeks ago by our lovely friends from Iran. They were aimed at the Abraham Lincoln. Out of the 111 missiles shot, 111 missiles were knocked into the sea. And I called the captain of the ship. He wasn't even sweating. 111 missiles are coming at you. And he's drinking his coffee, taking it easy.
The mullahs can lob as many ballistics as they want. We'll shoot them down. There's nothing they can do to us. That's why we own the Strait.
It's open if people want to go through it. We're not opening it for Iran. That's the only one it's closed for. It's closed for Iran, both in and out, but it's open now. A lot of things have happened, Trey, in the last few months. Pipelines are being built. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas, including Alaska.
Nothing leaves unless we say so. And their neighbors are building pipelines around Hormuz. They'll have oil flowing without Iran getting their slimy hands on it. And with the land and sea blockade, they can't get their oil out. So what are they going to sell instead? Pistachios. Now, the commander-in-chief was in the Situation Room. He's being presented with more options. Sources say Carg Island's in play. So's Pickaxe Mountain.
So Carg Island, Pickaxe Mountain, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. They made me do it. They made me do it. I said, bomb Carg Island. Bomb Carg Island. I said, bomb Carg Island, don't touch the pipes. Don't touch the pipes, we're keeping the oil. Bomb Carg Island, don't touch the pipes. Bomb Carg Island, don't touch the pipes. This is what I told them. I didn't want to do it. I said, you can't make a deal. You can't. This is why no president ever did it. 47. I'm 47. I'm president. 47 years. Nobody did it. Nobody did it. I'm 47. See, that's why I did it. If you're not going to do it like I do it, you don't want to do it. 47 for 47. Bomb Carg Island. Don't touch my pipe. Pause. We're keeping the oil. Now take a look again. Take a look again. Take a look again. We're blowing up aircrafts. We're blowing up bases. Look at this. Take a look again. I didn't want to do it. I said I didn't want to do it. I said I didn't want to. We're bombing we're keeping the oil. I'm keeping the oil. I didn't want to do it. But you know what else I like from that report? Donald Trump is finally saying no more IRGC. Look at that. Now this is what I was saying earlier. Do you everybody watching this? Let's watch this in slow motion. Let's watch this in slow motion. This is telecommunications, right? You cannot fight a war in 2020 without telecommunications, without internet, without comms. Look at this, what America is doing. We're destroying the telecommunications, but that's not what I want to point out about this video. That's not the most important thing. What I want to say to you, when you're in war, right? When you're in war, one of your most important thing is your comms, right? Remember firewalkers and when the Indians was helping us and we were able to not talk with Indian and that's how we were able to fake out the enemy because they couldn't figure out the Navajo language, right? You need comms, you need communications. What I want to point out to you is that this is a telecom site, right? America, number one. A lot of people might get upset that Trump is taking out their comms, right? Because they might say they need internet, they need these things to survive and function. I agree. You need these things in 2026 to survive and function. What I am pointing out to you is that there's no one here protecting the telecom. In a war, when you know you need access to the internet, you know you need access to satellite, you know you need access to cell phones, you got drone technology, you can't afford to not have your comms not operational, right? So what I wanted to point out to you is not just the fact that America is blowing up the telecom system, but no one is protecting it, right? No one is protecting it. Someone should be protecting this. There's no one here. We should not be able to go in the middle of a war and just take out all of the internet and all of the cell phones. And that's what we're doing. We should not be able to go in the middle of the war and just take out all of the internet and the cell phones, right? Somebody should be protecting this. And who in the hell left the gate open? That's the question right now. Who in the hell left the gate open? Double tap, hit the like button. Double tap. 5 days. Day 5 of consistent bombing ever since the funeral of Ayatollah Khomeini, and Iranians threatened Trump with death. At the funeral, we buried the supreme leader. February 28th, people speculated that Trump was lying about taking out the top leadership and the top brass. Over the weekend, they asked for permission to have a funeral. They said, Trump, this don't sound like a winner to me, but they said, Trump, America, we need permission to have a funeral and we need to mourn the supreme leader. It took 4 months for them to get up the nerve. They were so cowardly, they would not have a funeral without Trump giving them permission. And it took 4 months for them to get up the nerve to have a funeral. They have a funeral. The new supreme leader doesn't arrive. He doesn't show up. It's like a Jay-Z concert, right? It was like a Jay-Z concert. Right? It's like a Jay-Z concert, right? It's like a Jay-Z concert, right? Where people come, people expect to see something, right? And nobody shows up. The supreme leader, the new supreme leader didn't show up. So they start bombing ships. Now, what I always argue, if there was a new supreme leader and he came to the funeral and he put down, this is what we're going to do, then that's what should have been done. But what you saw after the funeral is a lack of leadership at the funeral and after the funeral. And then the bomb started and they broke the ceasefire. They broke the MOU ever since then. And then Trump, now keep in mind the context before we go into this next video. The context is they break the ceasefire, they break the MOU after the funeral, where they asked us for permission to have the funeral. They asked us for permission to have a 9-day mourning period. And then they start bombing commercial ships. The thing is, to keep in context, Trump was in Turkey when they started the bombing. And they had an assassination attempt on Trump while in Turkey. Trump had to fly home on a different plane. Trump flew to Turkey on a brand new Air Force One jet that was gifted to him by Qatar. He flew home after Israeli Mossad intel in a different jet. Double tap hit the like button. 5 days of bombing. Let's go.
Wow, 5 straight days. Mike Tobin joins us live from Tel Aviv with the latest. Hey, Mike.
Morning, Brian. Morning, gang. A lot of developments out of Iran. Let me start out with the U.S. on the offensive, firing deeper into Iran than it has in the past. Some of this information now is coming from Iranian state media, not confirmed by the U.S., but air defense is triggered very close to Tehran, showing U.S. forces striking for the north than they have in this round of fighting. Also, barracks for Iran's 388th Mechanized Infantry Brigade were hit. The town of Ranshar to the southeast, that brigade operates tanks and armored vehicles. Also, as part of the blockade, the U.S. has now fired on a commercial ship. It's a tanker flagged out of Curacao named Belma. U.S. Central Command says the tanker was headed toward Karg Island, Iran's primary oil export hub. The ship ignored multiple warnings. U.S. aircraft fired Hellfire missiles into the smokestack and disabled it. This after 2 commercial tankers were turned around the previous day. The propaganda ramps up on the streets of Tehran. One example of the propaganda, there's a mural of the late Senator Lindsey Graham with devil horns painted on his head. And there's another giant mural of President Trump in a coffin. President Trump was asked yesterday what he thought about these threats toward him. He says he doesn't spend much time thinking about them. Still, Iran has extended an olive branch. An American with dual citizenship in Iran, jailed while visiting family in 2024 and charged with espionage, has now been released. A lawyer for Dina Karari posted, this would not have happened but for the extraordinary and relentless efforts of President Trump. Dina is now safe and traveling back to the United States. The president posted that the U.S. appreciates the goodwill gesture from Iran. Guys, back to you.
That is unbelievable. Mike, thank you for
Thanks,
showing
Mike.
us those images. That's what's happening in Iran right now.
I mean, it's the same thing what they were doing the other day when they asked to bury the supreme leader and they were calling for the assassination of the president and death to Netanyahu, death to America and Israel. They continue to say that they want peace and that they want to open up the strait. And, you know, they're not bad actors, but when you see them in real time, that doesn't look like a peaceful regime.
No.
So they've expanded their list of strikes. They're going deeper into the country. Last night they hit the Artesh ground forces, the 388th Mechanical Assault Barracks in Sistan and Baluchistan province. These are the types of soldiers that would suppress an uprising inside their country. They're also hitting everything in and around the strait, the things that would open up the strait. They are actually plowing the ground to take back that strait, but they got to do a little bit more attack. So I was a little stunned yesterday that, when Vice President Vance was on with Joe Rogan talking for hours, he brought up that basically we had a deal going, Iran kind of breached the deal, but there are people on the right that just want to have war, like his predecessor, Mike Pence. But if he's going to say that, that also includes Tom Cotton and Roger Wicker, because it comes down to that memorandum of understanding that he signed that put out in that rule number 5. It says that Iran can control, along with Oman, will control the strait. And that's what Iran is going by. We never in a million years would have signed off on that. Verbally, we didn't. But if you look in the writing, you go to Rule 5 and it says it there. So it's his document in many ways that made things worse right now and put a whole gray area into what they can and can't do. Now, Iran's up to no good 24 hours a day. But why give them something that allows them to do something that's so unpalatable to the rest of the world? Take international waters and toll them.
And then there's this American citizen. She's a dual citizen. She's 53 years old, the one that was just released. She was there visiting.
5 days, 5 days. What? 5 days. 5 days. 5 days. Man. 5 days. 5 days of bombing in this. Wow. 5 days of bombing in Iran. And I got more footage. I got more footage for you guys. 5 days of bombing. Man, I can't believe the microphone just did that to me, man. Here goes some more for you guys. This is the U.S. Marines in the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit conduct a verification boarding aboard M/T when Ye in the Gulf of Oman, July 16. As of today, American forces have redirected 3 vessels trying to run the blockade disabled. You just heard from that report that they had to fire on a commercial ship. These are photos of America boarding that ship. So you just heard in that report that America had to fire and board a ship. This is examples of us in complete control. Yesterday's video, yesterday's podcast was Trump total control. Yesterday's podcast was Trump total control. This is just more example of Trump having total control in the Straits, in Iran right now. Make sure as you come in, you hit the like button and you vote in the poll. Let me know how you feel about Trump. How is he doing in Iran? How's he doing ever since the Straits have been shut down, ever since we had to deal with this, them breaking the MOU? Double tap, hit the like button. Let me know how you guys feel in the chat. Everybody right now, get in there. Get your comments in there right now. Get the likes up. Get the super chats going. Get the gifts going. Double tap, hit the like button. We do this every day at 1 p.m. We're discussing war on 2 fronts. 5 days bombing in Iran.
I mean, he's already plussed up the DoD budget by 50%, $1.5 trillion for the fiscal year, and now $200 billion on top of that?
So first, what I'd say, fundamentally, the role of the government is to protect and defend its citizens. And the artificial intelligence, the weaponry that we're deploying is astonishing in what we're able to accomplish. That costs a lot of money, and it's also part of the reason that I think fewer men have lost their lives in this conflict. What I'd also say is that it's interesting that now Democrats are outraged about spending money on war. We spent $175 billion on Ukraine, a war we weren't even in.
Thank you.
Nancy Pelosi rallied for it, said that it was a victory for democracy.
Well,
and
look,
everyone was thrilled to spend that again on Ukraine. Why not in Iran, a war that we're already in supporting?
Not in one. I mean, he's already plussed up the DoD budget by 50%, $1.5 trillion.
Can anybody
fiscal
answer that
year, and now
Can anybody answer that in the chat? And just for context, as you answer that in the chat, please keep in mind that we're still in the Ukraine. We've only been in Iran for 4 months. We're still in the Ukraine. We've been in the Ukraine. This goes back to when I started the podcast and somebody was ignorant enough to mention the deep state in reference to Trump, and that ate their ass up. When we talk about the Ukraine, then we really get into the deep state. Then we really get into the dirty Democrats, right? How do we get into the Ukraine? The favorite conversation for people who hate Trump is to say, Bibi Netanyahu tricked us into Iran. Well, how do we go into Ukraine, you guys? And don't forget that Israel was attacked October 7th under the Biden administration. So number one, I don't understand where they get the Bibi comment from, but how do we get into Ukraine? Keep in mind that Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma without any education, without any experience. Without any education, we got Biden on the phone doing the quid pro quo with the Ukrainian leadership. Biden involved with installing Zelensky. The previous president was a friend of Putin. Then we get Zelensky. Then we go to war. This goes back to 2014. But no one ever wants to discuss how it is we ended up in a multi-billion dollar, over $100 billion war in the Ukraine. Then because you know why? It doesn't play well with the I hate Trump, because Trump was not responsible for us getting into a proxy war with a nuclear power. Because what's going on with the Ukraine-Russia is that Europe our supposed NATO ally is using Ukraine as a proxy to fend off Russia advances because they don't have any other way to stop the proliferation of Russia because they haven't militarized themselves. And Americans have said, we're not going to protect you from Russia. So who got us in the Ukraine? Who got us in the Ukraine? And we spent $175 billion and we did not win. We cannot win. Hello? We did not win. We cannot win. And it's not over. You know, I did my research on the Ukraine. Do you know how much it's going to cost to rebuild the Ukraine? $589 billion. They already have the contracts. They're already getting the banking and the funding. Damn near $1 trillion. How many people, do you know they had women and elderly men fighting on the lines in the Ukraine? How many men have lost their lives in the Ukraine? Russia have said they're not giving up the Donbass region. Russia is not giving up any ground. They just bombed Kiev over the 4th of July weekend. Russia just bombed the capital. I'm going to bring that up. I'm going to replay this. And I'm going to bring up over the weekend, Russia bombs capital of Ukraine. How many of you guys knew that? And they just, how many guys knew that? So let's take a look at this again. Let's take a look at this again so we understand, how do we get into Ukraine? But see, that's not popular with the people who hate Trump.
I mean, he's already plussed up the DoD budget by 50%, $1.5 trillion for the fiscal year, and now $200 billion on top of that.
So first, what I'd say, fundamentally, the role of the government is to protect and defend its citizens. And the artificial intelligence, the weaponry that we're deploying is astonishing in what we're able to accomplish. That costs a lot of money. And it's also part of the reason that I think fewer men have lost their lives in this conflict. What I'd also say is that it's interesting that now Democrats are outraged about spending money on war. We spent $175 billion on Ukraine, a war we weren't even in. Nancy Pelosi rallied for it, said that it was a victory for democracy.
Well,
and
look,
everyone was thrilled to spend that again on Ukraine. Why not in Iran, a war that we're already in supporting?
Not in one. I mean, he's already plussed up the DoD budget by 50%, $1.5 trillion for the fiscal year, and now $200 billion on.
So in case you didn't know about what's going on in the Ukraine, let's get everybody a nice little update. Let's get everybody a nice little, because Russia is advancing. That you might hear from, we just saw Zelensky in Turkey, in Ankara, and talking with Starmer and Macron. You saw Canada at the NATO summit. I said, why is Zelensky even there? Because Putin said it's a non-starter for Zelensky and Ukraine to be part of NATO. So over the weekend, 4th of July weekend, Putin just bombed the hell out of the capital of Kiev. This is the same thing like with Iran. The propaganda and the media makes you think that Ukraine has a chance and that Ukraine has been doing well. Ukraine has lost and has been losing for 2 years. They should have made a deal 2 years ago. All that's happening now is the same thing as Iran. They're just getting beat. They're just getting beat.
Attacks on the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. In one attack, you can hear a drone flying overhead before an explosion. A number of residential high-rise buildings were hit across the city. At least 12 people were killed in the attacks and several others injured. Emergency crews are now combing through the rubble to search for survivors. Anna Cunningham joins me now. So Anna, good morning. What more do we know about this latest Russian attack on Kyiv?
Morning, Juanita. Well, this is Russia's second biggest attack on the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, in just a week. Wow. Now, Ukraine's Air Force says that Russia launched some 68 missiles and 351 drones. You can see these images, those huge explosions lighting up right across the skyline of Kyiv as those missiles and drones got through Ukraine's air defenses. Now, emergency services have been working through the night. They've been trying to rescue people trapped inside some of those apartment blocks. You can see here those images using cranes to get to people and take them out of their apartments. Many of those apartments catching fire as those drones hit. And we're hearing from residents just saying how much shock they're in, talking about not believing that they actually got out of their apartments, especially when they look back at those huge holes that have been left where their apartments were. And Juanita, even during those air raids and the rescue, the air raid sirens were still sounding. And I think you can see from these images the damage that has been done. At the moment, it's still a search and rescue operation. Kyiv's mayor saying that he hopes no one is found underneath the rubble. Juanita.
And Dana, what reaction has there been as this comes just ahead of the NATO summit?
Yeah, and I think it's interesting the responses that we've heard, given that the NATO summit is taking place in Ankara from Tuesday. It's giving us an idea of just what it's going to focus on. Let's show you what the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said. He says it is critically important that the world, first and foremost, the United States and our European partners, come out of the NATO summit in Ankara with strong decisions in support of our air defense. As long as Patriot missiles remain in our allies' stockpiles, Russia is only encouraged to keep vanquishing residential buildings. The United States and Europe have enough strength to stop this terror. So that's from the Ukrainian president. Let's show you now what Ursula von der Leyen, who is the president of the EU Commission, has said. She says, Ukraine urgently needs more air defense. We will discuss it this week in Ankara at the NATO summit. Last week, we provided the first 4 billion euros, which is about 6.5 billion Canadian dollars, under our 90 billion loan to strengthen Ukraine's defense with advanced drone technology. And she says more is coming very soon. Now, we know NATO leaders are heading to Ankara and Turkey. We also know the US President Donald Trump spoken with the Russian President Vladimir Putin on Saturday for about 90 minutes. He also spoke with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. And we know as well that talks to end this war have faltered. Interestingly, though, the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov today denying suggestions that the US president flip-flops on the Ukraine war. Instead, the Kremlin saying the US president has been consistent. I think that's a view that is unlikely to be shared by Kyiv and EU leaders.
Just to give an update on what's going on as we talk about Iran and the multiple day war going on. Iran broke the MOU just to get some people in the chat, just to catch some people up in the chat. And it's some intelligent people in the chat. Double tap, man. Some people are some intelligent people in the chat. Not only did Russia, and not only did he say that was a red line. So somebody in the chat mentioned that Putin said that the Ukraine being part of NATO, you just heard them say Patriot missiles cannot be there, right? Putin said there was a red line. This is what Kamala Harris, shout out to the chat, W in the chat. I got the best chat on YouTube. Shout out to the chat. So how did we get into Ukraine? Because some people are asking in the chat, how did we get into Ukraine? Well, Kamala Harris went to something called the Munich Security Councils. This is the reason why some of you should just sit down and listen. Double tap at the like button. Some of you should just sit down and listen. Kamala Harris, vice president under Joe Biden, went to the Munich Security Council. What's so ironic about this is that Hillary Clinton was in Davos, and Hillary Clinton was at the Munich Security Council this year saying that we need to give the Ukraine Tomahawk missiles. That's what the Democrats, but the Democrats tell you that they want peace, right? The Democrats tell you that they want peace. But Hillary Clinton was in the Munich Security Councils this year in Germany saying we need to give the Ukraine Tomahawk missiles against a nuclear power Russia. Why the fuck would we give the Ukraine Tomahawk missiles? Why the fuck do we want to go to war with a nuclear country? But that's what we would be doing if you had a Democratic president. Somebody hit the damn like button. Somebody hit the damn like button. We would be in war with a damn nuclear country if it was for Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. But let me keep going. Kamala Harris went to the Munich Security Councils in Germany while Joe Biden, she was supposed to be the border czar. Is she black? I don't know if she's black. I don't care if she's black. She was supposed to be the border czar. The border of what? America, Mexico. Instead, she's in Europe at the Munich Security Council worried about the Ukraine-Russia border. That's not your job, Kamala. So Kamala's in Germany at the Munich Security Council, and she makes these speeches, these rounded speeches. I've read them. I'm not going to read them today. I'm not going to read them today, but I've read them. I've read these speeches. And in these speeches, she espoused that the Ukraine had hopes and desires of being part of NATO. And then she went on to say that the Ukraine has a right to be part of NATO. The next fucking day, Putin starts bombing. This is why we in fucking war with the Ukraine, because of fucking our love affair with Europe and the monarchy, and fucking Kamala Harris, loudmouth ass, instead of working on the American border, she's in fucking Germany saying that the Ukraine has a right to be part of NATO. And that was a red line for Putin. Does anybody understand why it's a red line for Putin? It's a red line because if the Ukraine becomes part of NATO, they get a NATO base. And then that puts nuclear weapons at the door of Russia. And Putin said, fuck that. That was a red line. No NATO base, no nuclear weapons, no NATO nukes in the Ukraine. I will go to war. That was a red line. Biden and Kamala broke that red line. But that never is discussed by people who think they understand the geopolitical landscape that we're dealing with today. They have no idea why we're here, why we're there, and why we're everywhere. Double tap hit the like button. #1 podcast on YouTube. Double tap hit the like button. #1 podcast on YouTube. We've been bombing Iran for 5 days straight. Ever since the death and the funeral of Ayatollah Khomeini several days ago, where the Iranians asked us, can we have a funeral? Can we have a mourning period? Then they broke the ceasefire, start bombing ships. Now we tapping that ass. Double tap hit the like button.
Yeah, I think a deal is possible. Sure, I do.
But Mr. President, you noted the United States is bombing Iran again. I mean, you've been bombing Iran for months now. Is this just the new normal for the American people?
No, well, we're in Vietnam for 19 years. We're here for 4 months. So I think we've done a lot. We've knocked out their Navy in a period of 1 month. We knocked out their Air Force. Their Air Force is non-existent. We knocked out most of their missiles, most of their drones. We knocked out their drone manufacturing capability, about 92%. Their missile capability for manufacturing, we knocked out 89%. And they have a little capability, but they don't have any capability for us. This is almost a military skirmish. Now, with all of that being said, you have to get people that want to make something. We had a deal with them 2 days ago, and then they said, oh, we can't make that deal. We have to negotiate it further. And this is what they've done for 47 years. The difference is nobody negotiated like I do.
Facts. Trump says the difference is nobody negotiated. Let's go to the White House briefing. Let's go to the White House press room. And we talking about Trump starts the bombing again. We've been bombing 5 days straight in Iran. They said we didn't have enough missiles. They said we didn't do it. I didn't want to do it. I told them I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I said we could bomb our little hearts out. I didn't want to do it. And then I said, bomb Carg Island. Don't touch the pipes. Pause. Don't touch my pipe. Don't touch my pipe. Pause. I didn't want to do it. I said, we can bomb our little hearts out. And then bomb Carg Island. Don't touch the pipes. Don't touch the pipes. We're keeping the oil. I didn't want to do it. No, I didn't want to do it. But we're bombing. We're bombing again. Yeah, we were in Vietnam 19 years. But we're gonna bomb our little hearts out. And I'm bombing Carg Island, but I'm keeping the pipes because we're keeping the oil. Pause, don't touch my pipe.
We did move forward into a diplomatic phase, if you will. But unfortunately, Iran has since violated that. They have expressed they still want to make a deal to the president. We're talking to them. But again, the president is not going to allow them to fire on ships in the Strait without paying a consequence for that. And I think just one more point, I think throughout this entire endeavor, the president has proved not just to Iran, but to the entire world that we can hit Iran anytime, anywhere, any place. And their ability to defend themselves has been essentially wiped out because of this president and Operation Epic Fury in the first place. We did move forward into a diplomatic phase.
I agree. I got evidence. She said they have basically been wiped out. Here it is right here. Video. The U.S. has completely destroyed the IRG's headquarters in Iran. This is video of us destroying the IRGC headquarters. We've been bombing for 5 days. I've been showing you this all morning. Double tap hit the like button. Footage of America destroying the IRGC base. Iran is done. Donald Trump was right. The Straits of Hormuz belong to us. Look at the plumes. Some people speculated when they seen the mushroom cloud earlier this week. They wondered if America used a nuclear missile. Put it in the chat. Did America drop a nuclear bomb on Iran? That's speculation. That was speculation when people saw the mushroom cloud. Double tap the like button. Did America drop the big one? Double tap. This is America in Iran. 5 days of straight bombing. The reports are unverified. We will get the verification later. Unverified reports. Allegedly, America has destroyed the headquarters of the IRGC. We're looking at it right now. America destroys the headquarters of the IRGC. We've been bombing for the last 5 days with impunity. Now, what I like to extrapolate from today's footage is not only that we've been bombing, ladies and gentlemen, but we've been bombing with impunity. We've been bombing without one retaliatory strike. We've been bombing with the inability for them to do anything. Donald Trump reported that they tried to send 111 ballistic missiles. All 111 were shot down. Iran has no ability to protect itself or retaliate. I've been pointing out to you in video after video, there's nobody protecting the ports. There's nobody protecting the telecoms. We're blowing up telecommunication facilities and satellites, but no one is there protecting them despite being at war. You may not understand war, but it's war in 2026. One of the things you must protect is your ability to access the internet and communicate. No one was around when we blew up the telecommunications in Iran. No one was at the naval base. No one was at the IRGC base. I don't care if you say they underground. They can stay underground all the way down to the boogie down from the White House.
We did move forward into a diplomatic phase, if you will. But unfortunately, Iran has since violated that. They have expressed they still want to make a deal to the president. We're talking to them. But again, the president is not going to allow them to fire on ships in the Strait without paying a consequence for that. And I think just one more point, I think throughout this entire endeavor, the president has proved not just to Iran, but to the entire world that we can hit Iran anytime, anywhere, any place. And their ability to defend themselves has been essentially wiped out because of this president and Operation Epic Fury in the first place. We did move forward into a diplomatic phase, if you will, but unfortunately, Iran has since violated that. They have expressed they still want to make a deal to the president. We're talking to them, but again, the president is not going to allow them to fire on ships in the Strait without paying a consequence for that.
So what happened was after the funeral, they started breaking the MOU. They broke the ceasefire, and they started firing on ships in the Strait. Iran breaks the MOU, breaks the ceasefire, starts firing on ships in the Strait. Trump fires back.
A lot of developments out of Iran. Let me start out with the U.S. on the offensive, firing deeper into Iran than it has in the past. Some of this information now is coming from Iranian state media, not confirmed by the U.S., but air defense is triggered very close to Tehran, showing U.S. forces striking further north than they have in this round of fighting. Also, barracks for Iran's 388th Mechanized Infantry Brigade were hit. The town of Ranshar to the southeast, that brigade operates tanks and armored vehicles. Also, as part of the blockade, the U.S. has now fired on a commercial ship. It's a tanker flagged out of Curacao named Belma. U.S. Central Command says the tanker was headed toward Karg Island, Iran's primary oil export hub. The ship ignored multiple warnings. U.S. aircraft fired Hellfire missiles into the smokestack and disabled it. This after two commercial tankers were turned around the previous day. The propaganda ramps up on the streets of Tehran. One example of the propaganda, there's a mural of the late Senator Lindsey Graham with devil horns painted on his head, and there's another giant mural of President Trump in a coffin. President Trump was asked yesterday what he thought about these threats toward him. He says he doesn't spend much time thinking about them. Still, Iran has extended an olive branch. An American with dual citizenship in Iran, jailed while visiting family in 2024 and charged with espionage, has now been released. A lawyer for Dina Karari posted, "This would not have happened but for the extraordinary and relentless efforts of President Trump. Dina is now safe and traveling back to the United States." The president posted that the U.S. appreciates the goodwill gesture from Iran. Guys, back to you.
That is unbelievable. Mike, thank you for.
Let's get JD Vance. Let's get JD Vance. I got JD Vance on this issue. Let's get JD Vance. JD Vance recently said something about the strikes being fired back up with Iran. Double tap, hit the like button. Vance Rubio, 2028. Brand new strikes, 5 days of strikes in Iran, post-funeral for Ayatollah Khomeini. There was speculation on whether or not Trump was telling the truth. I just played a video. I didn't want to do it. We destroyed all the army. We destroyed all of their navy. They have no more leadership. They said Trump was lying about destroying the top leadership. But over the weekend, they asked for permission to have a funeral. 4 months it took them to bury the Ayatollah Khomeini. I think because they wanted to keep the propaganda going that it was a possibility that he was alive. But they had a funeral where they had 7 coffins. Trump wasn't lying. We took out the entire leadership of the IRGC the first day, February 28th. So they asked for permission to have a funeral. After the funeral, they start bombing. They break the MOU. Iran breaks the MOU. Iran breaks the ceasefire. After saying we need permission, please don't bomb us while we hold this funeral. This is what happened. Iran says, please don't bomb us while we hold this funeral. And then again, there is no leader at the funeral. They say the son is the new leader. I believe he's not breathing. That we haven't seen or heard him in 4 months, but people want to say the son is alive. I don't believe he's alive because he didn't come to his father's funeral. He didn't take the opportunity to speak. So after the funeral, they break the MOU, they break the ceasefire. We've been bombing them for 5 days. Next president of America, J.D. Vance, talking about bombing Iran. Let's go. Double tap at the like button.
But I definitely think you have seen this very discreet, extremely well-funded campaign to try to derail the negotiation and try to derail the deal. And, you know, there's this Time article that came out yesterday. A friend sent it to me. It's like worth reading because it lists a bunch of people who have quite literally been paid by a former Trump campaign person who was himself paid by certain elements within the Israeli government. And those people are attacking me viciously for quite literally trying to accomplish the negotiation objective that the president set for the country. So
what is their position? Like, are they attacking you how?
Oh, it's social media posts. It's, you know, they're leaking to reporters. They're attacking me obsessively, saying that we should not be negotiating with Iran. We should just keep the military campaign going indefinitely. And that is their explicit position. And coming after me saying that, you know, people have come after me and say that I'm influenced by Qatar, that I'm influenced by foreign governments, that, you know, I take my marching orders from Tucker Carlson. And there's just so much bullshit out there, when what I'm actually trying to do is accomplish what the president of the United States told me to accomplish, which is a settlement of this that accomplishes our objectives. Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. We have the free flow of oil and gas. And like, I should be clear, you know, like, I don't actually mind. I don't mind that the, you know, let's say certain elements of the Israeli government want to criticize the deal or have disagreements about the deal. I don't even mind an effort to try to influence, you know, foreign governments try to influence the United States all the time. You know, Israel does it, other countries do it. It's just sort of the nature of the beast. What bothers me is actually when Americans allow, meaning American leadership, allows that influence to affect their judgment and to affect what they are advocating for. That's what really bothers me. People are always going to try to influence the United States of America, whether they're allies of ours or whether they're enemies of ours. But again, when I open up the pages of Time magazine and I see that there's a literal foreign influence campaign being funded to tank the very deal that I was pursuing, and oh, by the way, many of the people who were receiving that money were actually attacking me in completely dishonest ways, you know, my response to that is, well, go to hell. I'm going to do what I have to do for the American people. I represent Americans first.
JD Vance, Marco Rubio, 2028, talking that presidential talk. We talked about this earlier. I said, how do you beat JD Vance? JD Vance just explained on this. He said, Israel is trying to influence the deal. JD Vance says, I don't want Israel's influence. Double tap hit the like button. JD Vance says, I don't want Israel's influence on the deal. So how do you beat a JD Vance on this? JD Vance says, I don't want Israel's influence on the deal. And people think Israel is this god over America. But the next presidential candidate, Donald Trump, says, how do you beat Vance and Rubio? And here it is, JD Vance saying, I want Israel out of American politics. Who disagrees with what JD Vance just said? Put a one in the chat if you agree with JD Vance. JD Vance said a lot of good things.
I definitely think you have seen.
JD Vance said a lot of good things on this interview with Joe Rogan. Double tap hit the like button. Do you agree with JD Vance in his eye? He said a lot of countries try to influence politics, but he said for those people who tried to stop my deal with Iran, kiss my ass. I am so proud of JD Vance. Is this your next president? Put a one in the chat. Is this your next president?
There was a Time story that came out yesterday that basically there are certain influencers in America who are being paid in order to attack the deal. I think some of it's just pure political ideology, right? It's foreign policy perspectives that are much different from mine. They think that America should that we can basically, you can wave a magic wand with the military and accomplish whatever you want. And, it's not that simple. You actually have to have a very clear objective. Military power can accomplish a clear objective, but you've got to have that clear objective. You can't just say, we're going to bomb until something good happens. That never works. The United States has tried that before. So I think it's a combination of things, but I definitely think you have seen.
Oh my God, he's talking that talk. Now, red wave, red 2028. JD Vance talking that talk, man. He said you cannot bomb your way out of a problem. He said people want me just to stay in Iran. He's talking like he's already the president. He's talking like we're not going to stay in Iran. He's going to make a deal. He doesn't want to just use the military without a clear objective. He talking that talk. Man, the thing about it is there's nobody on the left that you can compare this type of conversation to, this type of understanding of the geopolitical landscape. This is the thing you got to talk about. When we run for president, you look for somebody with an executive background, right? A governor or someone who was in the cabinet, a vice president. But this person that comes up in 2028 will need to be well-versed in experience in geopolitics because of the landscape that we were given to by Biden and Kamala Harris when Israel was attacked on October 7th, when Ukraine was invaded. See, the world went to shit under Biden and Kamala Harris. So whoever you run against JD, who has this unique perspective and understanding on this geopolitical landscape, they better be as experienced. Double tap at the like button.
This very discreet, extremely well-funded campaign to try to derail the negotiation and try to derail the deal. And, there's this Time article that came out yesterday. A friend sent it to me. It's like worth reading because it lists a bunch of people who have quite literally been paid by a former Trump campaign person who was himself paid by certain elements within the Israeli government. And those people are attacking me viciously for quite literally trying to accomplish the negotiation objective that the president set for the country. So
what is their position? Like, are they attacking you? How?
Oh, it's social media posts. It's, they're leaking to reporters. They're attacking me obsessively, saying that we should not be negotiating with Iran. We should just keep the military campaign going indefinitely. And that is their explicit position. And coming after me saying that, people have come after me and say that I'm influenced by Qatar, that I'm influenced by foreign governments, that, I take my marching orders from Tucker Carlson. And there's just so much bullshit out there, when what I'm actually trying to do is accomplish what the president of the United States told me to accomplish, which is a settlement of this that accomplishes our objectives. Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. We have the free flow of oil and gas. And like, I should be clear, I don't actually mind. I don't mind that the let's say certain elements of the Israeli government want to criticize the deal or have disagreements about the deal. I don't even mind an effort to try to influence, foreign governments try to influence the United States all the time. Israel does it, other countries do it. It's just sort of the nature of the beast. What bothers me is actually when Americans meaning American leadership, allows that influence to affect their judgment and to affect what they are advocating for. That's what really bothers me. People are always going to try to influence the United States of America, whether they're allies of ours or whether they're enemies of ours. But again, when I open up the pages of Time magazine and I see that there's a literal foreign influence campaign being funded to tank the very deal that I was pursuing, and oh, by the way, many of the people who were receiving that money were actually attacking me in completely dishonest ways, my response to that is, well, go to hell. I'm going to do what I have to do for the American people. I represent Americans first, and that's the way that I've tried to do this job.
Really impressive, JD. Really impressive, man. Double tap at the like button, man. 5 days of bombing in Iran.
There was a Time story that
Iran breaks the ceasefire. JD Vance talking to Joe Rogan about
this very discreet, extremely well-funded campaign to try to derail the negotiations.
JD Vance talking about the conflict. Double tap, hit the like button. This, my brother. 2028 is on the way. JD Vance talking about the conflict, talking about the SAVE Act. Mike Johnson passes the SAVE Act today on the piggyback of another bill. Double tap the like button.
Yeah. You mentioned that the administration's top priority right now is passing the Save America Act. Even if it were passed tomorrow, there's not enough time for it to be implemented before voting starts for the November midterm elections. That being said, will the administration support the results of the midterm elections come November, regardless of what they look like?
Well, look, of course, we're going to support the results of the midterm elections. We think we're going to win, but ultimately that's up to the American people. But we also think we have to do everything that we can to discourage cheating. Because you will hear Democrats sometimes say, and I love this line, I can't help but laugh at it, cheating isn't that frequent in American elections. Any frequency at all is a problem. A single ballot cast illegally in an American election is, in fact, the theft of the ballot from another American citizen, from an American citizen who deserves to be able to vote. So you're right. The elections, in some ways, the process is already getting started for 2026, but you don't pass a piece of legislation because you think you're going to immediately benefit from it. You pass a piece of legislation because you think the American people are going to benefit from it over the long haul. We have to do it. Save America is not mainly about 2026, to your question. It's actually about saving America's elections well into the future.
Last question. Tomorrow, the president's going to give this big speech on the elections. A lot of Republicans here want him to focus on the 2026 midterms and not to relitigate his claims about the 2020 elections. Would you encourage him to steer clear of those unfounded claims that he is actually the true victor of the 2020 elections?
I love these questions, the unfounded claims. You're basically assuming an answer in the very question that you ask. Manu, what I'd say is we can do a lot. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We're doing so many things. We got the one big beautiful bill passed that cut taxes on Social Security, cut taxes on tips, cut taxes on overtime, delivered thousands of additional dollars into the pockets of the average American family. We're very proud of that. It's one of the things that we talked about in there was we need to talk about it more. We need to tell the American people all the amazing benefits that are in those working families' tax cuts. We also have a lot of other things going on in the country. The president's going to talk about a number of things tomorrow night. I'm obviously not going to get ahead of his remarks, but we can talk about a number of the American people's problems. We can solve a number of the American people's problems. And that's exactly what we're going to work with our House colleagues and our Senate friends to do.
I agree. How many people put a 1 in the chat if you agree with JD Vance? Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with JD Vance. Double tap, hit the like button. 5 days of strikes. We're talking about 5 days straight. 5 days straight. We bombing in Iran 5 days straight. Double tap, hit the like button. Brand new update. MOU is done. Ceasefire is done. We bombing Iran 5 days straight.
Fox News alert, Trump's giving Iran the big squeeze. For the first time in the war, we're launching airstrikes while the blockade's in full effect. Plus, sanctions are slapped back. Last night, 47 gave the gay Ayatollah 7 straight hours of bitch slaps. U.S. precision missiles fired from fighter jets, drones, and warships hit dozens of Iranian launch sites, mosquito fleets, and defense systems near the Strait. And this morning, Iran woke up to more bombs, over an hour of pounding, hitting cruise missile storage and missile sites near an island base. We're not stopping. Our forces are bombing Iran for the second time today. While the blockade stops anyone without a permission slip, a Curacao flag tanker headed for Karg Island. That's the first ship disabled since we started back up. We shot a Hellfire missile straight through her smokestack. We're also striking deep inside Iran. We hit a railway bridge that's crucial for Iran's trade with Russia and China. So now the land blockade's up right alongside the wall of steel. This was a warning of a bridge before bridge and power plant day. Now the mullahs are picking up the phone.
Came to the conclusion that you couldn't negotiate with the IRGC. Does that mean that you might wipe them out like you did ISIS?
Yeah, it does. We will see what's happening. We received a call just as I was coming here that they want to meet. They always want to meet. But, this should have been done by other presidents for many years, for 47 years, but really a lot longer than that. And it wasn't. And I never understood why, but now I do. Because if you're not going to do it the way I'm doing it, you're never going to make a deal with them.
They're scraping for leverage. Terror is the only card they have left. So they're flinging drones at their Gulf neighbors. And now the mullahs are after our boys. Iranian politicians want the IRGC to invade one of our bases and kidnap 100 soldiers, hold them hostage in Tehran. Good luck with that.
We had 111 missiles shot a few weeks ago by our lovely friends from Iran. They were aimed at the Abraham Lincoln. Out of the 111 missiles shot, 111 missiles were knocked into the sea. And I called the captain of the ship. He wasn't even sweating. 111 missiles are coming at you. And he's drinking his coffee, taking it easy.
The mullahs can lob as many ballistics as they want. We'll shoot them down. There's nothing they can do to us. That's why we own the Strait.
It's open if people want to go through it. We're not opening it for Iran. That's the only one it's closed for. It's closed for Iran, both in and out, but it's open now. A lot of things have happened, Trey, in the last few months. Pipelines are being built. We're coming up with great alternatives, including Texas, including Alaska.
Nothing leaves unless we say so. And their neighbors are building pipelines around Hormuz. They'll have oil flowing without Iran getting their slimy hands on it. And with the land and sea blockade, they can't get their oil out. So what are they going to sell instead? Pistachios? Now, the commander-in-chief was in the Situation Room. He's being presented with more options. Sources say Karg Island's in play. So's Pickaxe Mountain. David Bellavia.
Double tap at the like button, everybody watching. Double tap. 5 days of bombing consistently without anybody responding with impunity. Donald Trump is revealing the military game plan. Double tap, hit the like button. Now, where is that? Where was I at? Here we go. Donald Trump speaks on the leadership in Iran. We talking about Iran update. Iranians break the MOU. I'm giving you guys an update after 5 days of bombing in Iran. There is no more Iranian leadership. They had a funeral over the weekend. After the funeral, they started bombing. Ever since the funeral, we have been bombing them for 5 days in a row. Double tap at the like button, everybody. Answer the poll. Vote in the chat.
Something else. Now that you've announced that the U.S. has destroyed all of Iran's mine-laying ships, why can't the U.S. just immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we could, but it takes two to tango. We have to get people to take their billion-dollar ship and drive it up. If when Pepe has his big sugar ships coming around and they cost $1 billion, and we say, I think it's okay now, Pepe, take your ship, drive it through the Strait of Hormuz. He may say, let me wait a little while, because it takes ship owners, and these ships are very expensive. They can cost up to $2 billion. So they don't want to take a chance that, gee, I think you'll be okay. They got to know it. So they don't have to set, we don't know if they even set any mines. But the thought that they may have is enough to keep people from saying we don't need it. Now, we are pounding that area, that coast, as you know, left side. We're pounding it, like really pounding it hard. And again, they may have no mindset. We hit every one of their mine drop. They call it the mine layers, right? The ships. They're pretty sophisticated ships. Every one of them is gone. But it only takes one. So it's a little unfair. You know, you win a war, but they have no right to be doing what they're doing. But we're hitting them very hard. And today is a big day where we're pounding a certain area that has very much to do with the Strait. And I think we'll get it going very soon. In addition, we do have other nations coming in. You need people to watch and people to see. We have other nations coming in. Yes, please.
Donald Trump discussing our war efforts and igniting the bombing in Iran. 6 days of bombing, ceasefire over, MOU done. Iran breaks the ceasefire after the funeral of the Ayatollah Khomeini. The top brass of the IRGC was buried over the weekend. There were 7 coffins, including a little baby coffin. I don't know how many of you saw the funeral. I think CNN, who is embedded in Iran, purposely did not show the funeral in its entirety. They were chanting death to America, death to Israel, death to Donald Trump. Now keep in mind, they asked our permission to hold the funeral. They asked America's permission, do not bomb us while we bury the Ayatollah. It took them 4 months. It took them 4 months to admit the Ayatollah was murdered. We took out the entire top brass. 7 people were buried, including a little baby coffin. We gave them permission. They said we need to bury him and have 9 days of mourning. 1 day after the funeral, Iran breaks the ceasefire, breaks the MOU, starts the bombing. This is an update after 6 days after the burial of Ayatollah Khomeini and those strikes by Iran. We now control the Straits of Hormuz. We now control Venezuela. We now control Cuba. Marco Rubio, JD Vance. This is Donald Trump, 2028, Red Wave, talking to you about Iranian update and our brand new ballistic missile barrage. Double tap hit the like button, America first. Let's go, baby.
Now that you've announced that the U.S. has destroyed all of Iran's mine-laying ships, why can't the U.S. just immediately reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, we could, but it takes 2 to tango. We have to get people to take their $1 billion ship and you know, drive it up. If when Pepe has his big sugar ships coming around and they cost $1 billion, and we say, I think it's okay now, Pepe, take your ship, drive it through the Strait of Hormuz. He may say, let me wait a little while, because it takes ship owners, and you know, these ships are very expensive. They can cost up to $2 billion. So they don't want to take a chance that, gee, I think you'll be okay. They got to know it. So they don't have to set, you know, we don't know if they even set any mines. But the thought that they may have is enough to keep people from saying, we don't need it. Now, we are pounding that area, that coast, as you know, left side. We're pounding it, like really pounding it hard. And again, they may have no mindset. We hit every one of their mine drop. They call it the mine layers, right? The ships. They're pretty sophisticated ships. Every one of them is gone. But it only takes one. So it's a little unfair. You know, you win a war, but they have no right to be doing what they're doing. But we're hitting them very hard. And today is a big day where we're pounding a certain area that has very much to do with the Strait. And I think we'll get it going very soon. In addition, we do have other nations coming in. You need people to watch and people to see. We have other nations coming in. Yes, please.
Double tap, hit the like button. Double tap, hit the like button. Coming to you live from the White House. Trump is going to speak tonight, but I'm giving you an update right now, giving you a sneak peek. We're talking about brand new strikes, 5 days of strikes in Iran. 5 days of strikes in Iran. Double tap, hit the like button. Coming to you live.
Just in, President Trump.
Just in, President Trump, live from the desk of the president. We no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. Double tap at the like button, everybody. Conservative media outlets have been saying this. If you look at the Republican budget, if you look at the writing on the wall with USAID, we just had a great conversation and debate about ICC, the International Criminal Court. How many people were here for that? Oh, that was a great. Marco Rubio has been tasked by Trump to go after the ICC. So if you look at what we've done with USAID, what we've done with the UN, what Marco Rubio is doing now with the ICC, we're not even part of the ICC. Trump removing us from the Paris Climate Accords, we're not part of the ICC. Where Marco Rubio says that's not enough. We want to destroy the ICC. The ICC thinks it has some types of ruling body over America's sovereignty, and Marco Rubio, Donald Trump has said, hell no, we're going to break up the ICC. So when you look at the UAE leaving OPEC, there are global paradigm shifts occurring right now. The writing is on the wall for NATO. I don't know if NATO saw it, but the writing was on the wall. We already saw it. This is why we're not surprised when we see Donald Trump task Marco Rubio to go after the ICC, International Criminal Court, empowered by the Rome statutes. Double tap at the like button. That was a great show. Go back and watch the show on the ICC and Marco Rubio going after the ICC. Then you won't be surprised about what you're seeing today. You won't be surprised about this announcement. We predicted the writing was on the wall for NATO. The writing was on the wall for USAID. The writing is on the wall for the UN. We're not going to be funding the UN in the same way, just like with NATO. Double tap if you're conservative and you've been reading actual budgets. You know the actual platform. You don't just listen to CNN. Double tap at the like button.
This just in, President Trump on Truth Social saying we no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. We never did. Likewise, Japan, Australia, or South Korea. In fact, speaking as President of the United States of America, by far the most powerful country anywhere in the world, we do not need the help of anyone. News Nation's joke on this just in, President Trump on Truth Social saying we no longer need or desire the NATO countries' assistance. We never did. Likewise, Japan, Australia, or South Korea. In fact, speaking as President of the United States of America, by far the most powerful country anywhere in the world,
we don't need the help of anyone. Double tap hit the like button. How MAGA strong is that? Oh, that MAGA. Oh, that's MAGA. He said, we don't need shit from nobody. How you feel as an American today after the 4th of July, 250, and you had a president this cock strong? I'm feeling good this morning. My president is the man. He said, we don't need nobody. We don't need nobody. We just dancing, y'all. We don't need nobody. It's America. We don't need nobody.
Likewise, Japan, Australia, or South Korea. In fact, speaking as President of the United States of America, by far the most powerful country anywhere in the world, we do not need the help of anyone.
Wow. Talk about isolation. I love this guy, man. Donald Trump is the greatest. Donald Trump is the greatest. Talk about isolation. Come on, man. We don't need nobody. We don't need nobody. We just dancing, y'all. Donald Trump's the greatest. America's on the ball. Everybody double tap hit the like button, man.
Locations inside of Iran.
I'll save the energy targets for last, but ultimately we'll hit energy targets, yeah. But we're going to hit them very hard tonight. We're going to hit them very hard tomorrow night.
So Donald Trump, I showed you video. We hit the naval bases. We hit telecom. You got to have communications. Nobody was protecting the naval bases. Nobody was protecting the telecoms. Donald Trump now saying we're going to hit the energy. Now, he said last week, I don't want to do it. They made me do it. They have the desalination plants. They need water. I didn't want to do it. But I'll do it. I'll bomb him. I'll bomb the desalination. So Donald Trump said he wouldn't bomb the energy plants and wouldn't bomb the desalination. So now Donald Trump says the energy plants are in play. And I believe next will be the desalination plants. I didn't want to do it. It made me do it. We're bombing the energy. We're bombing Cog Island. I didn't want to do it. But don't touch the pipes. Don't touch the pipes. Pause. We're keeping the oil. I didn't want to do it. It made me do it. Double tap at the like button. Trump didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. They made him do it. Double tap at the like button.
Locations inside of Iran.
I'll save the energy targets for last, but ultimately we'll hit energy targets, yeah. But we're going to hit them very hard tonight. We're going to hit them very hard tomorrow night. We're going to hit them very hard the night after. And then next week it gets really bad for them because next week comes the power plants. Next week comes the bridges. We're going to knock out all their power plants. We're going to knock out all their bridges unless they get to the table and negotiate.
Do you believe the Iranians are serious about making locations inside of Iran?
I'll save the energy targets for last, but ultimately we'll hit energy targets, yeah. But we're going to hit them very hard tonight. We're going to hit them very hard tomorrow night. We're going to hit them very hard the night after. And then next week it gets really bad for them because next week comes the power plants. Next week comes the bridges. We're going to knock out all their power plants. We're going to knock out all their bridges unless they get to the table and negotiate.
The thing is that you need to understand, everybody, is that everything that Trump is saying, people want you to speculate about. But in the bombings that I've showed you today, what you guys need to understand is there's nobody protecting these sites. The reason why Trump can say that we can do this with impunity because there is no armed forces, there is no Air Force, there is no Navy. Any target that we want to hit, we can hit. I hope everybody understands what's going on.
We are awaiting next hour's White House press briefing, where we are expecting to get some major updates on the war with Iran. Tehran is now threatening widespread attacks in the Middle East if the U.S. starts hitting Iran's power plants and bridges. An Iranian military spokesperson also said intervening in the Strait of Hormuz is an invincible red line the U.S. should not cross. We are awaiting next hour's White House.
Well, it's all a go, man. If you listen to these reports, what you should take from that is it's all a go, man. We are in full-fledged combat right now with Iran, 1,000% fire all the way up. I'm giving you the update right now. It's been 5 days straight of bombing, 5 days straight of bombing, and it is not letting up. We got a brand new presidential address tonight at 9 p.m. Double tap hit the like button. We're going to analyze tonight's address at 9 p.m. and we're going to discuss it tomorrow. It's important. Everybody watching right now, hit the like button. Do me a big favor. It's absolutely free to hit the like button. It's absolutely free to subscribe. The important thing is that you subscribe, hit the notification bell, because tomorrow we will be breaking down Trump's presidential address from tonight at 9 p.m. And you want to be here so that you can get the updates and understand where we're going and headed as a direction in the country. Now, when I say this 9 p.m. address tonight, I put this in context of this. I have been the one telling you that I doubt that Ayatollah Khomeini's son is actually in a position to lead the country. The reason I said I doubt that is because he hasn't made a similar address. Tonight, Trump is going to make an address to show that Trump is winning, Trump is strong, Trump is a leader, America is strong, and we have a bright and strong future, and no one can beat us, right? What I said to you is, Iran missed the opportunity to do the same thing. Iran doesn't have a lot of opportunities on the global stage where everybody is listening. But the death and the burial of the Ayatollah was the perfect opportunity for Iran to present its new vision, its new leader, and to say we are strong and we have a strong and bright future. They didn't do that. But Donald Trump is doing that tonight at 9 o'clock. I need you to subscribe so you're here tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the breakdown.
It's really big news. It's really, really big news. And our country has to shape up. But that's what we're going to be talking about Thursday is it doesn't get bigger, because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country. We'll be discussing other things too, but it's going to be a very big announcement. Yeah. It's really big news. It's really, really big news. And our country has to shape up.
It's really big. It's really big news. That's what I told her. She said, wow. She said, wow. I said, it's really big. It's really big. It is, isn't it? It's really big. I told her, I said, I didn't want to do it. I said, look, baby girl, it's really big. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to break her back. I didn't want to break her back, but I told her it's really big. It's really big. It's really big. I broke her back. I did. I broke her back because you know why? It's really big. It's really big. Donald Trump tonight at 9 o'clock making an address. We will be breaking it down tomorrow. A really big address, really big, a really big address. You got to like, share, subscribe so you can be here so we can break down what's said tonight.
It's really big news. It's really, really big news. And
she said, that's what she said. She said it's really big. It's really big news. And I told her I didn't want to do it. I didn't, but it's really big.
It's really big news. It's really, really big news.
Really, really big. It's not just big. It's really big. No, it's really, really big. It is. I didn't want to break her off. I broke her off. I had to because it's so big. It's really big. Really, really big. One more time.
It's really big news. It's really, really big news. And our country has to shape up. But that's what we're going to be talking about Thursday is it doesn't get bigger because without free and fair elections, you don't have a country. We'll be discussing other things too, but it's going to be a very big announcement.
How you guys feel? Do you agree? I said earlier, Mike Johnson passed the SAVE Act on the back end, Majority Leader of the House, on the back end of another bill. I read that today. Donald Trump is going to be making an announcement tonight. So much has been done to curb politics and the cheating. Remember, Donald Trump said he called and he said, made sure in California. I'm in California. Donald Trump made sure that we have a Republican on the ballot because he saw that they were going to cheat and take him off the ballot like they did Spencer Pratt. So that's what we're talking about tonight, 9 o'clock, amongst other things. Double tap, hit the like button, #1 podcast on YouTube. It's our brother Scott. This is my brother from another mother, Scott.
Donald Trump doesn't know how to play chess. And our allies tonight even told me in meetings that because Donald Trump kept shifting his objectives. Who was it? Because Donald Trump, well, I'll tell you when the president tells us who he's negotiating with.
So you don't, so
when
so
the
you're
president
claiming
keeps
you had
moving
high-level
our
conversations with other countries tonight?
I talk to people from the region all the time,
The
Scott.
region or with the governments?
Scott, here's the point. Here's the point. The people in that region who are our allies have been very public. Donald Trump doesn't know how to play chess. And our allies tonight even told me in meetings that
he talked to people in the region. Arrest that man. Place that man under arrest. This is what's going on in the country, right? He talking to people in the region. Who are you? Who are you? Sounds like a seditious, traditionalist, traitorous, some of them bitch to me. Bring him in for questioning, Cash Patel. Bring his ass in for Marines are boarding vessels. We have complete control of the Strait. Live. This is live from the Straits of Hormuz. Marines are boarding vessels. We have complete control. I did a podcast this week. Go to my channel right now, man. Do some binge watching, man. And if you love podcasts, if you want to catch up on all this information, take a look at the show we did the other day. I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday. It's called Total Control. Trump takes total control. We now have total control over the Straits of Hormuz. Now, a couple things to bring to you about as you watch this visual. So what's going on right now in the Straits of Hormuz? Hold on. Come up. Wait a minute. Just a second. Hold on.
And it wasn't, other presidents didn't do what was right. They should have done it a long time ago. It would have been much easier. And they want to settle so badly. They don't like what we're doing. And they do want to settle. We'll find out whether or not we settle with them or we just finish it off. But I want to thank.
Put a 1 in the chat if you say finish it off. Put a 1 in the chat if you say finish it off. So what's going on right now in the Straits of Hormuz? Donald Trump has initiated the blockade. We block your block. If you listen to them, they going to say they blocked the blockade, but we block, they block. Double tap at the like. But how you like that, Trump? It's called the double reverse. It's called, anybody ever play Uno? The Iranians don't know what to do. They got hit with the double reverse. God damn. Uno, double reverse. We block your block. So now the United States has blocked the Straits of Hormuz, but we also have the Straits of Hormuz open to our friends. How do we do that? So the Iranians put bombs along their coast, and then they blocked so the Iranians have infrastructure. The actual ports were on the coast of Iran, right? Then you have Karg Island with the oil and the pipes and the ports, right? So we've blown up those facilities on Karg Island. Karg Island still producing the oil because we want to keep the oil, but their inability to put boats there. And at the same time, as we destroy Iranian infrastructure on their coast, we have rebuilt and opened a shipping lane along the sovereign coast of Oman. So there is ability to get in and out of the straits without entering the Iranian waters. Double tap it to like, but I don't know how many of you know that, but that's actually what's going on right now. So America is there. We have multiple aircraft carriers. I've been asking the Democrats and the liberals in the chats, how long will it take us to leave there? How long will we be there? And I would like to base your answer based upon foreign affairs and recent events. How long were we in Iraq and how long were we in Afghanistan? We were there 20 years. And what I've told you when you answer this question, we haven't had this much metal. We haven't had this many troops. We haven't had this much tonnage in the region in over 20 years. So if you look at what happened and with Joe Biden and how it destroyed the Democratic Party and his chances as a president, destroyed Kamala Harris, the way in which he left Afghanistan. He left around billions of dollars of equipment. He left the allies. He was a complete embarrassment to the globe and created a power vacuum in the region. If you ask me, MAGA conservatives, Joe Biden's feckless departure of Afghanistan is what led to the increased, emboldened uptick of violence of the proxy armies, which led to the attacks on October 7th. You don't have October 7th without the failures of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I'm going to say that one more time. You don't have October 7th without the fact, because it wasn't just the way he left Afghanistan. It was that precious nuclear deal that the Democrats love to tout. You know, that JPCOA, right? Well, Joe Biden had talks with Iran in Vienna. Number one, he didn't show up. He had the Europeans negotiate on behalf of Americans. Why would they do that after Brexit when you have the European and the UK with dueling principles and dueling ideologies? But anyway, be that as it may, he sent the Europeans to negotiate for you in Vienna. They were unable to get a deal. So Joe Biden had the option in 2020, as we talk about this tonight at 9 p.m. Thursday night. Joe Biden had the option to renew Obama's JPCOA, the nuclear deal with Iran, and he failed. He not only left Afghanistan in a shambles, creating a power vacuum, but he failed to renew the deal that you guys hold in such high regard, right? So when he failed to negotiate with Iran elected a hardliner. And then there, next thing you know, the uptick in proxy violence. Now, why would there be an uptick in proxy violence? Who are the proxies? Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. Well, a couple things. The money Barack Obama gave them, the money that Barack Obama and Joe Biden allowed them to make is how you got the uptick in proxy violence. $700 million and 100,000 missiles to Hezbollah. $300 million to Hamas. Drones, missiles, and millions to the Houthis in the Red Sea. Iran did a full court press on the Middle East as soon as Joe Biden and the Americans left the region, creating the power vacuum, which I argue, in my opinion and assessment, led to the invasion in October 7th. So you have Kamala Harris and the Munich Security Councils egging on Putin by saying Ukraine has a right to be part of NATO. You have Biden with the mistakes I just told you in Afghanistan, creating a power vacuum, failing to get a deal in the JPCO in Vienna, not even showing up or having an American representative at the table. Just so in case you understand, because a lot of people don't understand the geopolitical environment. We're in day 5, day 6 of bombing in Iran. Iran broke the MOU. Iran broke the ceasefire. It's not on us. They asked us for permission to have a funeral. They don't even have the funeral. They asked us for permission to have a funeral. They don't even have a funeral. They immediately start bombing commercial ships. Donald Trump says, I'm not putting up with the bombing. I'm not. So now strikes are back on. Now strikes are back on. 6 days, no retaliation. We are bombing Iran with impunity. We are bombing Iran with impunity. They don't have an ability to respond. They have an inability to respond. They have not done anything as we kick up bombing. And I don't believe they will be. I don't think they will be, and I don't think they can. I don't think they will be, and I don't think they can. So that's what we are. That's what we are. What else we got? Well, let's keep it going. So did y'all see Blanche? Did y'all see the AG? Trump appoints brand new AG Blanche. And Blanche was on Capitol Hill getting grilled, but I think he did a great job. Let's go to Capitol Hill. It's only a hill. AG Blanche on Capitol Hill. We got AG Todd Blanche infuriated Senate Democrats by doubling down on targeting leakers who expose national security information. I think Todd Blanche did a great job. He should be confirmed immediately. Put in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you believe Todd Blanche should be the brand new AG. Donald Trump fired one of the AGs that they tried to appoint in Seattle because it wasn't a Trumper. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Donald Trump. They tried to slide one in. He got fired this morning. Double tap, hit the like button. You're fired. Yeah, he got fired this morning. Let's go ahead and confirm Todd Blanche as the brand new AG. He been doing the job. He gonna do a damn hell of a job. Double tap, hit the like button. Let's go to Capitol Hill and the Senate confirmation for Todd Blanche, brand new AG. Let's go, baby.
Support Mr. Patel. That is absolutely in the public interest. Do you support Mr. Patel's efforts to subpoena and get reporters under the grill to disclose who their confidential sources are?
The Department of Justice requires that I authorize it, which I did. And those reporters, we're not targeting reporters. They're material witnesses, just like a reporter would be a material witness to a car crash.
Yeah,
they
but
are witnesses. And so
in the question you want to ask them is who were their sources? That
No,
goes to the heart of the
no.
First Amendment.
no, the question we want to ask them is who provided them with classified national security information, which everybody in this body should want to protect. I would hope.
Senator Hawley.
That is absolutely in the public interest. Do you support Mr. Patel's efforts to subpoena and get reporters under the grill to disclose who their confidential sources are?
The Department of Justice requires that I authorize it, which I did. And those reporters, we're not targeting reporters. They're material witnesses, just like a reporter would be a material witness to a car crash.
Yeah,
they
but
are witnesses. And so
in the question you want to ask them is who were their sources? That
No,
goes to the heart of the
no.
First Amendment.
no, the question we want to ask them is who provided them with classified national security information, which everybody in this body should want to protect. I would hope.
Senator Hawley.
That is absolutely in the public interest. Do you support?
Yes. The answer is AG Blanche. I see a lot of ones in the chat for AG Blanche. Double tap. Oh, shifty shift. Oh, shifty shift. You know he's supposed to be behind. You know, this is why Bondi is no longer AG. Shifty Shift's supposed to be behind. We were supposed to prosecute Schiff and Lifty Letitia James. You know, y'all remember Letitia James of the SDNY and if you ever debate on YouTube and TikTok, the liberal TikTokers love to talk about these 34 accounts, but they don't have any intelligence on the actual case and what happened. Well, Letitia James is the architect. SDNY is the architect. Like you have Fannie Willis, and these are these big bossy black women, and they both met with Kamala Harris. Is she black? I don't know. Is she black? I don't know if she's black. I don't care if she's black. She could be black if she was. Letitia James went after Donald Trump. He was charged with the misdemeanor, right? It's just like with it's never been charged as a felony before. So no one ever asked on that political left. On that TikTok left, they always say he's a felon, 34 felonies, but they don't understand and know who Letitia James is, the SDNY, and the argument, and the judge. I should know the judge's name. Next time I tell her story, I'll get the judge's name. Somebody in the chat put the judge's name because it's important, because it was a liberal, left-leaning judge who bought into the argument. So lawyers come up with arguments, right? Letitia James came up with the argument that she wanted to escalate the misdemeanor that's always been charged as a misdemeanor to a felony. And her explanation argument was this misdemeanor was committed in the commission of trying to falsify this election to the American people. Thusly, it should be a felony. So it wasn't 34 felonies. It was one felony with 34 counts. They don't know that. They don't know the argument. They don't know the history of the crime in the misdemeanor and Letitia James. But Letitia James and Shifty Schiff should both be behind bars. If you ever say, what happened to Pam Bondi? She failed Trump. She failed us. They both should be behind bars. Shout out. Let me read the comment. And thank you for the $20 super chat from... Let me read the comment. And it said, keep telling the truth. It's definitely a big operation. Remember, Israel is saved for last. Q, shout out to you. Thank you for the $20 super chat. See your super chats in the super chat. Get the gifts going. Get the super chats going. Just giving you some background on today's discussion. Should AG Blanche be confirmed? Should AG Shifty Schiff be prosecuted? Should Letitia James be prosecuted? Double tap it. Do you know who Letitia James is? Do you know who Adam Shifty Schiff is? As you make your comments in my comment section, make sure you vote. Hit the like button. Do you know what happened to Pam Bondi? She should have prosecuted your shifty ass. Let's go to Adam Schiff versus AG Todd Blanche. Baby!
That position. If you went into court asking them to release it, it would be released by now. So how is that not a patent conflict of interest?
What you're saying happens to not be true. I did not do that. What you're talking about happened before I became the Deputy Attorney
support the
General.
release of Volume 2?
No, I don't, but I'm recused and had nothing to do with that case. Like, you can't accuse me of violating my ethical rules and then lie about what I did.
So you had nothing to do with the decision to prohibit the release of the report. You had nothing to do with the department's
wasn't in court.
position.
I
No, I'm
wasn't
not
the
asking whether
deputy-
you were in court. I'm asking you whether anyone sought your opinion or used your guidance in refusing to release Volume 2.
When
You're
that
saying you had nothing to
litigation-
do with
when
that decision?
litigation was ongoing, I was a private citizen, still representing the President of the United States.
For which so long has been relegated to a second-class status, end of quote, without objection. That'll be entered in the record. Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Blanche, you represented the president in at least three criminal cases: the hush money payment case in New York, the January 6th case, and the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. You said when you appeared last before this committee, you would consult with ethics lawyers about that apparent conflict of interest in handling any case involving the president, having been his personal counsel. Did you consult with Joseph Terrell, a senior ethics lawyer at the department?
I believe I met with Mr. Terrell, yes.
Did Mr. Terrell tell you that ethics laws and policies required that you not be involved in cases involving your prior representation of the president?
Yes.
So in those three matters, the hush money payment case, January 6th case, Mar-a-Lago case, you were to recuse yourself.
I'm recused, correct. Well, by the way, the
So-
cases are not ongoing, Senator, but to the extent there's any work around those cases, yes, I'm recused.
So you said to CPAC a couple months ago, the other things that are happening, there is not a single man or woman at the Department of Justice who had anything to do with those prosecutions, meaning the prosecution of the president. So you're saying that it's not a conflict of interest for you to be involved in the firing of prosecutors who prosecuted your client, your former client? There's no conflict there? Is that
No, there is. I wasn't involved. That would be a
So at
conflict.
CPAC, you're taking credit for the firing of these Department of Justice lawyers, but you're not willing to take responsibility before this committee. Is that the case?
No.
Okay.
I'm making, I said, there's a
Well, you
statement I
were,
gave
you
at
were
CPAC.
bragging about this at CPAC, the firing of these prosecutors, the firing of the FBI agents, the getting rid of everyone who investigated your client. You were proud of that, speaking for the Department of Justice, but you don't think that's a conflict of interest. You moved to vacate, I don't think you're going to deny involvement in this, you moved to vacate the convictions of 12 Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, which erased their convictions, restored their gun rights. These people were convicted in the January 6th investigation, which also involved the president, who you represented. You were involved in dismissing those cases, were you not?
I'm the acting attorney general. So yes, my department moved to dismiss. I was not
So
involved.
you didn't recuse yourself from that matter. You were
No,
willing.
there's no reason to, from the Proud Boys matter?
Yes,
I mean,
it was.
lawyer,
it
you know
was,
the rules.
It
There
was
are rules that say when I
yes,
have to
there
be
are
recused,
rules,
and that's not one of them.
and there are rules. And when you're told to recuse yourself from investigations
I
that
always
you
do.
handle for the president, you're supposed to recuse yourself.
No, when I
So
represented the president.
you have also said, you've also refused to release Volume 2 of the Special Counsel's report. That was an investigation into the Mar-a-Lago documents case. How is that not an abundant conflict of interest? Refusing to release to the public an investigative report of an investigation into your client.
I am not a judge. A federal judge.
No.
The
The department's
Adam Shifty Shift going at AG Blanche. Double tap, hit the like button. We looking for ones in the chat. We looking for ones in the chat if you think Blanche should be confirmed. We looking for ones in the chat if you think Blanche should be confirmed. Should he be the new AG? Double tap, hit the like button. Shifty Shift.
Unethical orders from your former law partner, Emil Bove, and other senior DOJ officials to lie to a federal court. You bragged about firing career law enforcement professionals simply because they were assigned to investigate the president's criminal misconduct, including FBI agents who specialized in investigating threats from foreign adversaries like Iran. More than 1,200 former career DOJ employees who worked for both Republican and Democratic administrations sent this committee a letter opposing your nomination because you have purged DOJ of thousands of experienced law enforcement officials, putting our nation's security at risk. I would like to enter this letter into the record. Unethical orders from your former law partner, Emil Bove, and other senior DOJ.
This is the Dems going at new AG, Ty Blanche. Put a one in the chat. How you feel about Blanche? I have a positive disposition to Mr. Blanche. I have not made a final decision.
Predisposition to, just so that everybody knows. I have not made a final decision. But Mr. Blanche said very quickly yesterday that he would meet with the victims, the Epstein victims, today, if it could be arranged. Well, right now, the markup, if you all don't know procedure here, after this hearing is done today, next week we'll hold it over. The earliest possible markup would be 2 weeks from now. And because it seemed to me that Mr. Blanche was willing to say that he would meet with them and counsel, I understand the restriction that counsel has to be present. I expect that meeting to occur before I'm willing to vote out of this committee. And I'm trying to get to yes. But this is a very important part of getting to yes. There should not be any reason why, based on what Mr. Blanche said yesterday, if he said that he would do it today, then he can certainly do it over the next 2 weeks. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I yield back.
Yeah. So what was they tried to corner our boy and try to say that he need to meet with the Epstein.
Yesterday,
he need to meet with the Epstein victim. They did the same thing to Bondi, but the thing is, he said, why do I need to meet with them? There's people that need
department ethics rules.
I'm the AG, right? I don't meet with them. There's people to meet with them. I have somebody here today to meet with them. I technically can't meet with them as if they have legal representation. Nobody was listening. They just wanted to get their political moment. Y'all know who this is. Cory Hooker Crooker Booker, the crooked of New Jersey. Double tap the like button at the Ty AG confirmation.
Are very clear about avoiding the appearance of impropriety. In a case like this, I don't think that's appearance of impropriety. I think that's improper. That the elected, that the connected and the powerful are getting a chance to rub shoulders. It would seem appropriate that you avoid those kind of appearances and dinners like that.
Every appearance or dinner or speech that I give are cleared by ethics officials.
So your attendance at that dinner was cleared by ethics officials?
Everything that I do.
I didn't ask you everything you do. Was your appearance at that dinner
You
clear?
can ask the questions, but you cannot control my answers. I'm under oath, and I can answer the questions. I choose to answer them.
Were you
So what I will
approved
tell
to
you
approve?
is when I do
Yes
things
or
outside-
no?
when I
Were
do
you
things-
approved
when
by
I do
ethics
things
to-
outside of the department, whether it's a speech, whether it's a dinner, whether it's an event, they are approved by ethics officials.
You did not answer whether that attendance was approved.
Every time I go out, it's approved. Yes.
Yes, it was approved. It was so easy to answer that question. Russia. Double tap at the like button. We coming to you live from the White House. Senate confirmation for brand new AG Todd
Department
Blanche
ethics rules
getting attacked left and right. Double tap at the
How do you think yesterday went? Do you think that the acting AG made a compelling case to be able to keep his job on a permanent basis?
I really do. Carly, thanks so much for having me on. I think the acting attorney general, General Blanche, made the case, the right case for why he is the best man for this job, which is that murders are lower than any time since 1900 in the United States. Prosecutions for violent criminals are up, for child exploitation, for illegal immigrants. He is focused on what I would call kind of the core priorities of law enforcement and really making our cities less violent. Then layer on top of that a return to really going after fraud in this country. I was the United States Attorney in St. Louis right after 9/11. In fact, got to work with the great John Ashcroft, who's going to testify on behalf of General Blanche today. And in that time period, the FBI and other agencies really shifted to going after terrorism. I mean, it had to be the number one priority, but kind of fraud investigations really dropped off. And we haven't seen an administration since this administration who really went after the fraudsters, and it's going to make a big difference.
And they certainly are doing that in this administration. Yesterday, the acting AG did make a case, made some statements about the state and federal partnership under the DOJ right now. You, as the Attorney General of Missouri, is that something that you have experienced firsthand?
Absolutely. We had a huge influx of new FBI agents come into the St. Louis area because of General Blanche and Senator Schmidt working hard and in conjunction with each other. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that my predecessor is now the co-deputy director at the FBI, Andrew Bailey, and we think he's doing a great job. But I've been in a meeting with Kash Patel, with Todd Blanche, and other attorneys general, where the focus was solely on how do we back the blue, and how do we back the blue in a way where we can police effectively in the streets of America. I haven't seen a deputy attorney general, an acting attorney general, the attorney general ever have that kind of focus before.
So restoring faith in the Justice Department was also a topic of conversation that came up yesterday. Here's what acting AG Blanche had to say about that.
Above all, we are restoring American trust. In recent years, we watched the Justice Department turned against many of you and a former president, and it damaged the public's faith in justice. We are fixing that. Members of this committee on both sides have fair questions about the hard debates of the past year, and I welcome them.
Now, when it comes to Republican support, Senators Cornyn and Tillis do have questions over Blanche's independence from the White House. Because he was President Trump's former attorney. He's going to likely need all Republicans to vote yes to advance his nomination out of the Judiciary Committee. So if you are Todd Blanche, should you be concerned about this?
Well, I might be concerned about the political impacts of things that have nothing to do with me. You know, I think that some of the two senators you've described that have motivations that are outside of whether or not Todd Blanche is the best qualified person to be attorney general. And let me say with absolute certainty that he is. Not only has he been the Deputy Attorney General, who operationally really is the person running the Department of Justice. But his career before coming into this role is just tremendous. He was an assistant U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York. He was at two of the finest law firms in the country. Really, the only complaint that this committee, even the Democrats on this committee, have against General Blanche is that he happens to be the person nominated by Donald Trump and knew Donald Trump before that nomination. That's the complaint.
Understood. Yeah, he's in an interesting position because he is testifying to keep the job that he already has and has been doing. Just drop that word acting in front of his title. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanway, we thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you. We appreciate having you on.
Thanks, Carly.
We appreciate having you on also. Attorney Todd Blanche, should he be
Madam Attorney General, thank you so much for joining us.
Should Todd Blanche be confirmed as AG? He's doing battle on Capitol Hill with the Democrats. What y'all think? Todd Blanche, he already been doing the job.
How long do you intend to put up with that Kash Patel character? Are you good with his airplane jaunts? Are you confident he's not drinking on the job? Are you sure none of his travel is a pretext for vacation activities like snorkeling, Olympics, and visiting girlfriends? Are you sure he knows what he's doing? Do you vouch for him? Are you willing to look at whether he lied to this committee?
That's an extraordinarily obnoxious question, Senator. I have full faith in George Patel and the work that he's doing every day.
Great, you get to own that.
the
One last thing, if I may.
I love it. How long you gonna put up with this Kash Patel guy? Y'all remember when Kash Patel had a beer, right? I had a beer. I had 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, 4 beers. I had a beer. I had another beer, 3 beers, 4 beers. Kash Patel was having a beer, celebrating the American hockey victory at the Olympics, and Kash Patel ain't gonna never live that shit down. Maybe because it was so corny. I love Kash Patel. I think when it was corny, it was the corny. But I don't think it was nothing wrong with it. But because it was such a cornball look, they gonna mess with him. He put the gold medal on. He looked like a fan. You know what I'm saying? Cash, it was a bad look, bro. It was a bad look, bro. Hold on. I love Kash Patel. I think he's doing a great job. And I don't think nothing wrong with having a beer. And Kavanaugh, Brett Kavanaugh, do you like beer? Did you have a beer? Shout out to Kavanaugh for having a beer at the party. You know what he was doing at the party. You know what I'm saying? We at the party, the house party, with Kavanaugh getting naughty. We at the party getting naughty. I had a beer. I had another beer. 2 beers, 3 beers, 4 beers. Kash Patel had a beer. Can we get it? We gotta get Kash Patel had a beer. Kash Patel had a beer. Kash Patel had a beer. Shit. I thought we was America. Since we're America, fuck with a man for working hard and having a beer. You can't have a beer in America. What did we create? It's America. It's America. We have beer in America. We drink beer, right? I don't know. Kash Patel. God damn it, man. I love it.
I was called here to talk about Mr. Blanche's nomination.
Yeah, I
for
know that's what
Attorney
you thought
General.
came here to talk about. But the reality is your credibility is gone. You can't come here and do the political bidding of the Biden administration. And then when you're called out on that and being fired, and thank God you're being fired. You know what I really think? I think you thought you came here and you're selling merch, by the way. Do we have the hoodies that are up for sale?
Wow.
We sell merch. Let's show the hoodies.
Wow.
I think you came here thinking that you were going to be ordained the high priestess of the resistance. That's what I think. That's why you're denying simple facts that you authored the memo commuting the sentences. Everyone knows that. And we have documents now from the White House that they use that memo as a PR stunt. And so the idea, you have no credibility to talk about Todd Blanche. You have none. You've come here, you deny basic facts, you recommended the commutation of murderers. You gave no quarter at all or any time to the victims of these brutal murders. So again, I can't believe you've been called here by the other side, but I'm glad we've had an opportunity to expose your hypocrisy.
Dirty Dims. Dirty Dims. Oh, man, that was underhanded. Put a word in. That was underhanded. Oh, she said, I came here to talk about, oh, man, dirty Dims.
I was called here to talk about Mr. Blanche's nomination.
Yeah, I
for
know that's what you
Attorney
thought
General.
came here to talk about. But the reality is your credibility is gone.
Wow. I know that's what you thought. Dirty Dims, man. That's how they play the game on Capitol Hill, man. That's how they said she was selling hoodies, man. She brought merch. That was some cold shit. $39.99. Link in her bio. Check it out, man. She also hawking hoodies for $39.99. Link in her bio. She can't, bro, why you picking on a girl, man? This guy is a sucker, man. You picking on a girl. Let the girl sell her hoodies, man. She can't sell her hoodies, man. Democrats are straight suckers, man. She can't sell her hoodies, man. Man, come on. They only $39.99. $39.99. Look at her. He going hard on baby girl. You better have the same energy, man. The guys like this always go after women. You better have the same energy, man.
I was called here to talk about Mr. Blanche's nomination.
Yeah, I know.
What did she say, man? Look at her with them glass. I love that. I love that when they got that look with the glass. Keep the glasses on, baby. Keep the glasses on. Bring the hoodie.
I was called here to talk about Mr. Blanche's nomination.
Yeah, I
for
know that's what
Attorney
you thought
General.
came here to talk about. But the reality is your credibility is gone. You can't come here and do the political bidding of the Biden administration. And then when you're called out on that and being fired, and thank God you're being fired. You know what I really think? I think you thought you came here and you're selling merch, by the way. Do we have the hoodies that are up for sale?
What did it say? Hardwired to stand. She ain't doing a good job today. She ain't doing a good job today. It says hardwired to stand up to bullies. How's that going for you so far? How's that going for you so far, man? It don't seem to be going too well because my boy is getting you good, baby. Shout out to you, baby.
Sell merch. Let's show the hoodies. I think you came here thinking that you were going to be ordained the high priestess of the resistance. That's what I think. That's why you're denying simple facts that you authored the memo commuting the sentences. Everyone knows that. And we have documents now from the White House that they use that memo as a PR stunt. And so the idea, you have no credibility to talk about Todd Blanche. You have none.
So she came there to speak negative about Todd Blanche. She was an operative from Biden and she just got eviscerated. And she came there with hoodies. She came there to speak negatively about Todd Blanche. Keep the glasses on, baby girl. Somebody in the chat said, you can drink beer, but should you? This is just because they were saying, how long are you going to put up with that Kash Patel character? And somebody in the chat said, you can drink beer, but should you?
What is Kash Patel doing in Italy? Why is he there?
Yeah, we're never getting those files. We're not getting to the bottom of the files.
I'm really curious what the people who say sports and politics should be separate have to say about this.
Let's go! Let's go!
Oh God, Kash, what you doing? Kash Patel, drink some beer.
I got it, boss. I got it. I'm on it.
on it.
Congratulations. I could send a military plane or something, but if you would like to, it's the coolest night. It's the biggest.
We're in.
Speech.
We're in.
We'll get the cash and we'll get the military to get you guys.
Let's go. Boys are going to State of the Union.
To the White House the next day. We'll just have some fun. We have medals for you guys, and we have to. I must tell you, we're gonna have to bring the women's team. You do know that. Absolutely. I do believe I probably would be impeached. Okay.
I'm driving the bus, boss. We're bringing the whole.
USA, baby. USA all the way, baby. USA all the way. How y'all feel about it? Cash Patel, I just wanted to show that real quick. Cash Patel, because Todd Blanche keep getting the question about Cash Patel and the beer. Somebody in the chat said, you can drink a beer, but should you? I like the way you put that. That's some YouTube shit right there. That's some real good YouTube shit right there. You can drink a beer, but should you? Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button. You can drink. We're going to be talking about today in the podcast. Cash Patel, you can drink a beer, but should you? Dum, dum, dum. That's some good YouTube shit. I ain't gonna even hold you. Angel Mom, Jennifer Boss, powerful remarks in support of AG Blanche. More support for Blanche. Let's go, baby.
And I'm here because my daughter's tragic and gruesome death has exposed catastrophic failures in immigration enforcement and drug trafficking policies. The investigation into her death continues, but one truth is painfully clear. Dangerous gaps in our system allowed an illegal alien to exploit our laws, and my daughter paid the ultimate price. Losing Megan and then being forced to navigate multiple broken systems while drowning in grief taught me that policies carrying life or death consequences cannot remain political talking points. That's why I've tried, despite the most intense heartache anyone can ever experience, to speak locally and nationally about the four crises that compounded our tragedy: illegal immigration, sanctuary policies, the fentanyl crisis, and cashless bail. I'm so grateful that the whole of this administration, with Todd Blanche leading the DOJ, has prioritized all four of these issues. I'm asking the committee not to wait until another mother is sitting where I am. Confirm Todd Blanche. He is a leader who will uphold the law, honor victims, confront dangerous criminal organizations, and fight to give other American families the safety and lasting protection that came too late for mine. I couldn't save my daughter, but Todd Blanche is Attorney General. He might save yours, because next time it could be your child. It could be your family. It could be you. This can happen to anyone. We must have leaders that are willing to act before the next life is taken. Leaders that are willing to confront the failures instead of explaining them away. Leaders like Todd Blanche. Megan was my firstborn. She was a mom and a sister and an aunt, loyal friend. She was.
God bless this mom, man. God bless her. My condolences, man. My prayers. My condolences and my prayers go out to this family. God bless this mom, man. And did you hear what she said? She said her daughter's life was taken because of sanctuary city policies. You know, on this channel, for those people who are new here, sanctuary city policies, we actually did research in that. They're not based in the Constitution, so they're not actually legal. They're not based in law. It's extremely sad that Americans are losing their lives and jobs, and they're not even based in legality. They're not based in the Constitution. There's a comment in the chat, and they talked about people's alignment. As I did my workout today before I went live, I had a conversation, and it made me think about my youth. And I don't know, a lot of people America changed a lot. So a lot of people don't grow up. I feel blessed to have grown up when I grew up. I went to church every Sunday. I grew up in a Southern Baptist Christian home. My uncle, the other household was a Jehovah Witness home. They would go witness twice a week. I would go with my uncle to witness on Tuesdays and Thursdays and knock on doors and give people the gospel. I would go to Bible study on Friday night. I would go to Sunday school Sunday morning. I would go to church with my grandmother. I would go to afternoon service. My grandmother bought me suits. I was always excited to participate in church. Martin Luther King Day, I wanted to read. You had to memorize the Martin Luther King Day speech. I don't know if you knew or understood, but Martin Luther King was a conservative and had a lot of Republican principles. But being a Southern Baptist, a Christian conservative, and having the understanding that I have of my relationship with God and country and family is where I get my Christian conservative values. My podcast is uniquely different than those who grift based on, if you notice, even when Trump is not polling well, I still hold the line. I'm voting for JD Vance. My conservative Christian principles come from my conservative Baptist grandmother, right? And the way she raised me as a Christian conservative. I think it's odd. To me, I think it's odd when a lot of Black people vote Democrat, knowing that your grandmother raised you as a Christian conservative who went to church Sunday mornings and had morals and character. We need to get back to those morals and character, where my grandmother made the women in my family wear dresses longer than the knee, right? You couldn't get Sunday dinner. You couldn't get gifts and benefits. My grandmother had her own business. She owned her own convalescent home. She was very affluent. My church, if you guys remember George Bush, when he met with the Black pastors during the, I'm talking about a time where you had very affluent Blacks in very affluent Black churches. These Black churches had political influence because of the amount of money that was garnered on these Sunday mornings. America has truly changed. So I grew up in a Christian conservative household with conservative values. Now, even though we were Christian conservative, my grandmother and my pastor still allowed, my gay uncle to not only go to church and come to dinner, but participate in church, because the gospel was not about kicking out the homosexual, you know what I'm saying? But my gay uncle's white boyfriend was not allowed to bring his Black boyfriend to his Episcopalian or Presbyterian church. We're very different than the Baptist church. This is why you see Tyler Perry, because our gay brothers and our gay uncles were allowed to play the piano, and we, simply because they were homosexual, we didn't shun them. So you can be Christian, you could be conservative, and still have a godly Christian heart to whoever come into God's doors. No matter what they believe, we still accepted you. So that's how America used to be a great place. I don't know what happened. I think it's Democrat propaganda, right? And so people come here and they see a Black man, they hear my Black voice, and they automatically assume and say, you should be Democrat. And I think that's odd, right? With my Christian conservative upbringing, I think it's odd that you would look at me and say I should be Democrat. And I just wonder, why would you think I was Democrat? If you see how old I am, and you know that I was raised as a Southern Baptist, most Blacks my age were raised going to church on Sundays, have Christian conservative values, and I'm not going to expound, but you know what that is. You know why I voted for Trump. I'm so happy with the Supreme Court protecting girls. I'm a girl dad. I have a daughter. She's my princess. This is why I voted for Trump. I'm in California. I did not want men competing against women. It doesn't mean I'm homophobic. This is where Bill Maher says the Democrats lost America, because you didn't listen to fathers. You didn't listen to girl dads. You wanted to say fathers and girl dads were homophobic because they wanted to have their daughters to have a chance to win a gold medal and win first place. And we thought it was unfair for you to make my daughter compete against your son because your son happens to be confused. And thank God for Donald Trump. Thank God for the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court sided with fathers. This is why we voted for Trump. People ask a lot, did you get what you voted for? Yeah, I got what I voted for as a girl dad, as a Christian conservative. So this podcast is not about a lot of BS that you see other places. I'm not white. I don't have those sensibilities that white men have. You know, I don't have this imperial. I was explaining to my wife about the white boys who go into the black community. I said, the reason these white boys go into the black community and do these things because they have a predator mentality. They're not afraid of blacks because they have a colonizer, imperialistic predator mentality. They don't fear because they feel like they're in charge. People don't understand the dichotomy and what's going on in America right now. So people see racism, right? And the Democrats have been successful with associating racism with being Republican. And it's actually the opposite. The Democrats are the Dixiecrats. The Democrats are the party of the Ku Klux Klan. The Democrats are Joe Biden. Joe Biden had the resolute desk. You guys don't know this. Hillary Clinton gave a eulogy to the Ku Klux Klan leader. It was her friend, like her grandfather. You guys don't know this. Bill Clinton was governor of Georgia. Y'all guys don't. See, this is the thing about the deep state. This is the thing about the Democrats. This is the thing about being, yeah, man, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like a lot of this stuff is obvious. It's not only Hillary Clinton, right, giving the eulogy to the KKK. It's not only Joe Biden with the resolute desk, but now we learn about the Southern Poverty Law Center. Like, how can they refute what I'm saying about the Democrats being the purveyors of racism in America? Because Joe Biden says, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Hillary Clinton has given a eulogy to the KKK and done whatever she did allegedly in Haiti and Jamaica. But then we learn about the Southern Poverty Law Center and Democrats giving money and stoking racial flames to continue to get money. It's like, are you surprised? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that the Democrats are paying people to be racist, to make themselves right. Didn't we see during the Black Lives Matter protest, Democrats giving out bricks? Didn't we see Democrats egging on violence against ICE? Who's surprised? Republicans aren't surprised. So I wanted to highlight that comment and just speak to that, because I was talking about that. I was talking about that while I was working out. And the sad thing is that when I say Christian conservative, when I say Southern Baptist Christian conservative, it falls on deaf ears. I mean, this is the sad part about American politics in America today. For old people like me, it matters when someone says Southern Baptist Christian conservative. They're talking about their political views and ideology. That's obvious, but for a lot of young people who are drunk off, their TDS, when they hear someone say Southern Baptist Christian conservative, they don't hear Republican. They honestly, I don't think they understand what it means when I say Southern Baptist. When I say I went to church every Sunday, we went to Bible study on Friday, I went to Sunday school. I grew up in a Christian conservative household with certain morals and values. Like you pay your debts, you pay your tithes, you respect your elders, you go to work, you pay your taxes, you vote. These are all conservative, Republican. And if you didn't know, the majority of America, especially immigrants, if you don't notice, when Trump and Republicans, most brown and Asian, they vote Republican because Asian and Mexican, they all go to church. They're Catholic. They go to church every Sunday. Part of going to church, being Christian, is being conservative. That's why when people be like, well, why did the Latinos overwhelmingly vote for Trump? Because they're Catholic. They're conservative. They have conservative ideology, morals, and principles. And I don't know why. I think because the Democrats and liberal media are running everything. So we don't have these honest discussions about America and American values and why Donald Trump won every single swing state and why Kamala Harris lost. Because Kamala Harris and the Democrats do not have a message for Christian conservatives when overwhelmingly Catholic conservatives, Judeo-Christian conservatives, when overwhelmingly Americans, God and country, and God we trust, Americans believe in God, bro. Americans love God. So when the Democrats keep leaving so far away from Americans' Christian conservative values, Democrats are even. If you look at TikTok, you see Christian Democrats saying, I don't know who to vote for. I got Stephen A. Smith saying the same thing. I don't know who to vote for because Democrats have left the ranch. Democrats have left the ranch so far, right? And this is the thing I say, how can you today call yourself a Democrat and a Christian at the same time? And that's what people are dealing with. People are dealing with that right now because the Democrats are not only leaving the ranch when it comes to that sociology, but now they're leaving the ranch when it comes to it politically. You know the thing Christian conservatives are? Capitalists in America first. So now you have the Democrats becoming socialists, right? Now the Democrats are becoming socialists. So what do you say to that? What do you say to that? What do you say to that? Let's take a listen to my boy real quick. My boy been talking this shit, man. This my brother.
I want to make a statement right here, right now, that I want everybody to hear, and I want you to hold on to this. The Democrats will be seen as the dumbest, stupidest, most ignorant bunch of people that we have ever seen in American politics. If they
say that one more time. Say that one more, because people think I'm making this up. People think it's propaganda. No, I'm not making this up. This is a Democrat. This is a reality that we're talking about right here. The Democrats have left the ranch.
I want to make a statement right here, right now, that I want everybody to hear, and I want you to hold on to this. The Democrats will be seen as the dumbest, stupidest, most ignorant bunch of people that we have ever seen in American politics if they find a way to lose these midterms. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. You can't be gift wrapped. Anything better than the Democratic Party has been gift wrapped this upcoming election by this president, this administration. I can't recall it. And I've been paying attention to politics since Reagan got in office. First and second term. And then HW, read my lips, no new taxes. That's why they got his ass out of there in 92 in favor of Bill Clinton, because he went back on his word. And Bill Clinton, they still voted for him for a second term because he had a budget surplus. George W. beat Al Gore with the hanging chads and then obviously won a second term. And then came Obama, 1 and 2. First it was McCain and then Mitt Romney took out. And then it was Trump. And they're talking about how Trump is going to give an address to the nation. He's going to point out some findings about the 2020 election. We don't give a damn. Keep moaning and groaning and bitching about something that's done. It's over. It was 6 years ago. Nobody cares. We know you think it was rigged. Enough. Then I woke up and I said, it's all a distraction. I want to make a statement.
Oh shit! Who's gonna win into it? You know what I'm saying? They sleeping, man. They sleeping, man. I'm telling you, man. It's a red wave coming. It's a red wave coming. It's obvious. It's obvious. It's a red wave coming. It's a red wave coming, and I don't know if it's a distraction, but the fact of the matter is they're not prepared. The Democrats are not prepared. They're not ready.
You don't like what any president's doing or any member of the Senate or the House, you can vote us out. And that's a privilege most people don't have. I travel this world a lot. we got a lot of problems here at home, but we got something to be proud of, and that is the ability to charter your own destiny. America, we can get through this. We're going to get through this. And if you don't like what Trump's doing, then vote for the Democrats in the midterm. If you like what he's doing, vote for the Republicans. That's sort of the way it works.
I can't argue with that when you say there's an election every 4 years. You could go out there and vote. You can change rules. You can change laws. You can change the people that's in office. And that's exactly where I'm aligned with. I couldn't agree with you more. I thank you so much for your time, Senator Graham. I really appreciate it. You didn't have to take time.
God bless him. God bless his memory. I like to remind people a lot. We just had a vote in 2025. People think Trump has only been president for a year and a half. It's a 4-year term. We just had a vote, right? We just had a vote. And people forget the American people had a choice. They had a choice between Kamala Harris. They had a choice between Joe Biden, and they said no to Joe Biden overwhelmingly. And they also said no to Kamala Harris, right? So this is not something that's not unknown to the conservatives, right? They had a vote, they had a chance, they had a choice, and this was just recently, and Kamala lost every single swing state. Kamala lost every single swing state. So that is the fact of the matter. That is the fact of the matter. We just had an election. And you know what else I like to point to a lot is that Joe Biden was very consistent with Trump on most of the big issues of today. When it comes to the tax cuts that led to the big, beautiful bill, those tax cuts was from the first Trump administration. Joe Biden kept them in place. When it comes to Venezuela, Joe Biden doubled the bounty on Maduro's head and kept sanctions. When it comes to Iraq and when it comes to Iran, Joe Biden did not get back into the JPCOA. When it comes to the Obamacare subsidies, Joe Biden did not make them permanent. Double tap hit the like button.
Reporting from the Wall Street Journal that forces from the United Arab Emirates are carrying out military strikes inside Iran. Fox is told that the UAE forces are directly engaged inside the Islamic Republic and have been for several days. This comes after Iran launched dozens of missiles and drones at the UAE during the conflict. Reporting from the Wall Street.
So now we got allies on their side. That's why we went to Turkey. Donald Trump just made an announcement. President Trump announces a new plan to replace illegal alien truck drivers with American veterans following an illegal truck driver killing a Pennsylvania state trooper. I think this is the 4th time I talked to you about. Most recently, before this time, there was an unaliving in Lodi, California, Highway 99 just last month. So it seems to be happening too much. The gentleman from the Lodi incident was charged by the Highway Patrol with first-degree murder and manslaughter because how egregious the accident was, and he tried to get away. So we had the incident in Florida where the guy came across. These were people. All of these people are Middle Eastern people. I don't know if you know how the CDL game worked. Like these people came across. The Democrats let in 10 million people. Now, everybody in America is upset at Trump because they think we're going after Mexicans, right? But the truth is people from China, people from India, people from Yemen, people from all over the world came here. So several people from the Middle East came here during the Biden administration 2022. They went to places like Minnesota, license for all, California, where you can get a license even though you're not a citizen, even though you can't read and write. Now, it's not just a driver's license. They were given CDLs, commercial driver's license, where they're able to drive big rigs, which is why so many people have been unalived, because these are multi-ton, multi-brake, multi-axle vehicles, and they don't know how to drive them. They don't know how to read American, and they don't know how to read and write the signs. So now Trump is doing something to put a stop to this. Now, remember I told you about Pete Buttigieg, the gay bus driver. Who knows about Pete Buttigieg, the gay bus driver? Pete Buttigieg is a gay bus driver who was gay, and because he was gay, Biden made him transportation secretary. Now, when he was transportation secretary, this is the person who's supposed to protect you on the highway. This is when Biden let in all these illegals, and then people in California start allowing them to get CDLs. Pete Buttigieg should have been the barrier to stop them from getting these CDLs in the first place in 2022 and 2023. But Pete Buttigieg was gay. He got married to a man while he was in Biden's cabinet, and then they had a baby. 2 men got married and had a baby. Pete Buttigieg then took off months, years in FMLA, while Americans were put in danger by illegals who couldn't read and write English. Thank you, Pete Buttigieg. And don't forget, I'm telling you this because Democrats are actually floating Pete Buttigieg as a viable candidate for president, and he was a gay bus driver. Double tap at the like button.
And because we're here in Pennsylvania, where State Trooper Michael Farrow was killed just 2 weeks ago by an illegal alien operating a semi-truck on a commercial driver's license, which he should never have had. He was here illegally, came in through Biden. Today, I'm making one more important announcement. My administration will soon take historic action to get illegal alien truck drivers who are just killing a lot of people. They can't read signs. Many of them are on drugs or alcohol, and they shouldn't be driving these things. And they came in totally illegally, and we don't want them. But they are driving all over American roadways, and we're going to replace them with proud American veterans who are going to take our veterans, who are going to make them, we're going to teach them a lot about driving trucks. And in many cases, they know. We're going to say any American who's driven a heavy truck for our military will automatically be eligible for a commercial driver's license. So we're going to get them taken care of.
Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, President Trump. President Trump makes an announcement. Let me read it to you guys, man. President Trump, man. It's always about America first. It's always about America first. Let's read this together, you guys. Trump announces fast-track CDLs for veteran truck drivers. Double tap, because this is in response to sanctuary city policies like Gavin Newsom, like Tim Walz, License for All, who are giving out licenses and CDLs to people from Yemen like it was candy. They didn't have a citizenship. They couldn't read and write. Damn it, they couldn't even drive the truck. And they still got CDLs. This is Trump response. Thank you, President Trump. Trump announces fast-track CDLs for veteran truck drivers. Speaking at U.S. Army War College, Trump referenced the recent death of State Trooper Michael E. Pereira Jr., killed by an undocumented immigrant truck driver, to push for prioritizing veterans and trucking jobs amid 60 to 80,000 driver shortage. The plan expands existing waivers, making CDL automatic for veterans with 2 years of safe, heavy truck experience. Building on programs like the military skill test waiver, officials like DOT Secretary Sean Duffy called it common sense, while supporters see it opening high-paying careers around $50,000 annually. Though critics know veterans may still need training. You wasn't training the people from Yemen. You was just giving people from Yemen all type of licenses. You was just giving people from Yemen all type of licenses. Right, Gavin Newsom? Right, Gavin Newsom? That's what you was doing. Just giving people from Yemen all type of licenses, right? Donald Trump, like and subscribe. Shout out to you, Bill, baby. Like and subscribe. Donald Trump fast-tracking CDLs as a rebuttal. And that's why I bring up Pete Buttigieg, Transportation Secretary, the gay man who had a baby and was off on FMLA. That's why I bring up Pete Buttigieg, because it was his job. He failed you. So remember that when Pete Buttigieg tries to run for president simply because he's gay. Say, Pete Buttigieg, I know you're gay, just like Kamala Harris, I know you're black. Outside of you being gay, what other qualifications do you have for being president? Please, sir, we know you gay, Kamala Harris, we know you black. Outside of that, what other qualifications do you have for being president? It matters. It matters. It matters. Double tap, hit the like button. It matters. How's everybody doing? I got to go pick up the kids and go get something to eat, man. Come on, let's end this on a high note. As I did my research this morning, I saw somebody talking about ICE and immigration and how America and ICE and all this shit and Democrats. And I said, you know what? You didn't sound like this when Biden was president. I remember Democrats, when Biden was president and Kamala was vice president, Democrats were very upset with the border, and they were not saying the same things they were saying today about ICE and border security. Double tap at the like button. I just want to remind people, let's go back. How far back? Way back in time to when Democrats had some common sense. Double tap at the like button, everybody.
Trade and civil enforcement. That is the job of ICE, and I wish they would stop doing it the way they have been. Right now at 5:30, Governor Hochul announces new restrictions on immigration agents in New York, and it's setting the stage for a fight with the federal government. Good evening, I'm Dick Brennan.
So this is a change. This is a change. Let's go right here. And then we'll go back to Kathy, because Kathy changed. That's her brand new opinion. And I'm going to go to this. Then I'm going to show her old opinion and her new opinion. Double tap at the light button.
Is keeping illegal crossings at the U.S.-Mexico. Recent data shows the Trump administration is keeping illegal crossings at the U.S.-Mexico border at historic lows. U.S. Customs and Border Protection reports there were more than 11,000 encounters at the southwest border last month. That's compared to more than 193,000 apprehensions in March of 2023. Let's bring in CBS News immigration correspondent Camilo Montoya Galvez from Eagle Pass, Texas. So, Camilo, I know that you have been to this area before when there was that influx. You're seeing it now. What are you hearing from officials?
Lindsay, the reality on the ground here at the U.S.-Mexico border has changed dramatically over the past year under the second Trump administration. As you can recall, under the Biden administration, we traveled here to Eagle Pass several times, and we saw hundreds of people cross through the stretch of the border across the Rio Grande into the U.S. illegally. We saw people crawling across the razor wire here set up by the state of Texas. We saw people cut themselves in the process of entering the country illegally. We have not seen a single migrant attempt to cross this border during this entire trip. We have only seen Border Patrol agents, Texas National Guard soldiers, and also Texas troopers. We spoke to the head of Border Patrol's Del Rio sector here in Eagle Pass, and he told us that at the peak of the border crisis, Lindsay, Border Patrol was averaging about 4,000 daily apprehensions here in this sector alone per day. Now it's down to about 30 people crossing per day in this sector. So it's been dramatic, the shift. Let's take a listen to more of that conversation with the sector chief. Chief, there's no question that the reality here has changed dramatically from the past year. But some people would say that the policies that have been implemented under this administration have been harsh and inhumane. What do you say to that?
I think it's keeping our country safe. I don't think it's harsh or inhumane. Crossing the border is illegal, right? So all this border barrier that you see, it's going to be bigger, better, and more beautiful. It's gonna be hardened wall, those kinds of things. It's not harsh. It's just protecting the American public.
Lindsay, we also spoke to the fire chief of Eagle Pass. He's been here for over 60 years, and he told us that during the Biden administration, he was responding to about 3 migrant drownings here in the Rio Grande behind us per day. Now he's responding to about 1 drowning every 3 months. So again, a stark change.
I really appreciate you and your videographer showing us the close-up there of that razor wire. You've also been speaking with people who live there, a lot of people around the country also, about their take on whether these measures are appropriate or, as you were asking, too harsh. What are you hearing?
Well, look, we should underscore that the administration's aggressive crackdown on illegal immigration inside of the country, far away from the border, has been more controversial. The ICE operations in major cities like Minneapolis, Chicago, Los Angeles, you name it, have been deeply unpopular in those locations across the country. But here, border residents are welcoming the changes under the second Trump administration. They were seeing chaos, illegality, and crime during the Biden administration, and they feel safer. That's what they tell us. We, in fact, spoke to a rancher who told us that he's okay with the harsh policies if they're deterring people from crossing this border illegally behind us.
Camilo Montoya Galvez, thank you.
They're okay with the harsh policies because they're deterring the people from crossing the border. That's just a fact. That's just a fact.
Too open right now. People coming from all over the world are finding their way through, simply saying they need asylum. And the majority of them seem to be ending up in the streets of New York. And that is a real problem for New York City. 125,000 newly arrived individuals. And we are being taxed. Now, there has to be some limits in place, and Congress has to put more controls at the border, and not in this budget threat, shutdown threat. Talk about eliminating positions for Border Patrol when we actually need to double or quadruple those numbers. So get back to work and do your jobs.
But I also believe in a pathway to citizenship.
and the opportunities for people who are already here, who came with legal status, who are welcomed at the door and given a legal document, a pathway to citizenship through asylum. I want those individuals to be able to work. I took the opportunity to make our position clear. First of all, I do not support open borders. We want to make sure that our borders are safe and secure.
Just to remind everybody, I just want to remind everybody, man, I love you guys. We had a great day today. Make sure you subscribe. So Trump will be talking tonight at 9 p.m. Trump will be talking tonight at 9 p.m. We will be going over Trump's address tonight. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back tomorrow at 1 p.m. where we can discuss the Trump address tonight. My name is Perfect. You're with me at the Perfect Timing Podcast. Right now, we're live from the Perfect Timing Podcast studios. If you take a look behind me, we're in the Perfect Timing Podcast studios. I just redesigned the studio, my library, brand new neon, all for you, all for your viewing pleasure. All for your viewing pleasure. We're here every day, 1 p.m. to debate domestic and geopolitics from a conservative angle. We love the debate. We love the contention. Come in, show unity, show love, show appreciation for YouTube, and YouTube presenting us this opportunity and this platform to have this discussion. So thankful to YouTube. So thankful to all the viewers who tune in and subscribe every day. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the likes. Right now, your last opportunity, hit the like button. It's absolutely free. Double tap the screen. If you're watching me on a cell phone, in the top right-hand corner, there are 3 dots. There's called an ellipsis. Hit those 3 dots right now. Those 3 dots will bring up an option screen. You'll be able to like or dislike, thumbs up or thumbs down the video, like and subscribe. Share it with a like-minded person. I ask of you right now, it's absolutely free to subscribe. It's absolutely free to hit the like button. Thank you so much to everybody. Who is this? Breeze and Peace Poet. Breeze, Peace Poet, both liked and subscribed today. Thank you so much for your support. Means everything. 9 p.m. Eastern today, the Trump address. Thank you, everybody. If you're so inclined, go ahead. When you subscribe, you're going to get a plus sign. Hit the membership. I'm running a Somalian special. We are the world. We are the children. Somalians came here and stole 19 billion. 19 billion. They built learning centers, but the children didn't learn shit. Then Ilhan Omar stole 30 million. She stole 30 million. And she married her brother. 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 Double tap hit the like button as we get up out of here, man. Thank you, everybody. Real McCoy, Storm, who else? Bill. Shout out to you, Billy Boy, Bill the Smith, Larry, Real McCoy, anybody I'm forgetting, man. Anybody I'm forgetting, shout out right now. Peaceful Warrior, thank you for the super chat. Everybody in the chat, man, peace and love. Eric Jordan, thank you for your membership and support. I think your membership must have fell off, Eric. You got to renew your membership again, but thank you for always coming through with the super chats and supporting. Get your membership back up, man. Hit the plus sign. Become a member, man. Support the movement, man. Support the movement, man. Double tap everybody who I didn't mention. I want to say God bless the chat. God bless America. God bless President Trump. God bless Erica Kirk and the kids. God bless the memory of Charlie Kirk. Y'all have a good day. See y'all tomorrow at 1 p.m., man.